Fuck, that's good.
Oh no!
Oh no, the shirt!
Oh no! Audio listeners, tired.
He drinks a whiskey drink, he drinks a vodka drink, he drinks a lager drink, he drinks a cider drink, he sings songs that remind him of the...
What's up, my ghouls and goblins? Happy REELOWEEN! Ooh, oh, I'm so excited. We're finally here. Every single week, we talk about the hairy and the scary and the spooky and the horrifying. Every single week, we talk about it on this show. But this month, this is the month everybody wants to talk about that stuff. Everybody wants to watch that stuff. Everyone wants to get creeped out. And here we are to creep you out as hard as you've ever been creeped out before. As always, my name is Taylor, and I am your guide on this journey. It's a dark and stormy night. You couldn't have asked for a better October 1st. The rain is pouring. I don't know if it's the same for you guys at home, but the rain is hitting the window. It's a windy night. I'm a little chilly. You can see I got the candles burning. It smells nice. Got a crisp autumn scents. I got the old jack-o'-lantern. He's flickering. He's having a great time. I've got my spooky tooth cracked open, my pumpkin ale. What, you couldn't ask for a better way to start REELOWEEN. I'm so excited, ghouls and goblins. I couldn't be happier. This is the best time of the year, but you can't celebrate the best time of the year by yourself. I know I'm not by myself because you're there for me, but you always got to have your top goblins this time of year. So what do we say we see our top goblin? Connor Breedlove. How you doing there, Fred? Oh, we can't hear him. We can't hear the goblin. What's going on?
Hear me?
There he is. There he is. How you doing, friend? What's going on over there?
Well, you can see I'm not on my normal throne. This is my last can of natural light. For many of you, you know that we've been trying to get a sponsorship with Natty Light. Well, they did the disgraceful and passed me up. I have no idea how they could. Not only did we have tweet bombs, constant posting, I made beachwear out of their product. And I got people to buy, drink, and enjoy their product when they wouldn't have otherwise. So I'm a proven influencer, and they didn't give me a sponsorship. So it's the war on Natty Light.
The natter days are over, my friends. REELOWEEN is upon us.
Natural Light here has 24 hours to respond with a reason why I do not have a sponsorship.
Oh my God. He's out. That was it. That was grueling. That was horrifying. I mean, and it's got to be said. We did really work our little butts off for this. Nobody is. I don't want to speak on the other candidates, the other people who competed in the Sponsor Me Natty contest. I'm sure they're all great people and they tried really hard, but I just don't think anyone tried as hard as Connor Breedlove did. and he was wearing natty. He was drinking natty. He was talking about it on the show. We were talking about it. We were tweeting about it. We had our own hashtags, and they passed on him. And I can't help but feel that it's a little personal. I don't disagree with his frustration. I think your feelings are completely valid, my friend.
Yeah. So that's the end of that. Instead tonight I'm going to be drinking a variety of different pumpkin ales. This one's called Elysian Night Owl.
Wow, I got my spooky tooth myself, as I typically do. There he is. Cheers to you, brother. Cheers to my favorite ghoul in the chat. Jessica, I'm so excited for my favorite podcaster, my favorite holiday with my favorite ghoul and goblin. Feeling this mutual. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, honey.
I'm super excited for REELOWEEN.
It's REELOWEEN, you bunch of freaks. We did it. It's going. We've got so much great stuff coming up this month for you guys. Always got a little Voorhees hoodie. Love that. I didn't even wear anything festive. I'm just wearing a sweater. I mean, this time of the year, I am so enthusiastic about busting out the sweaters. Love busting out the sweaters, busting out the flannel. I should have found something a little bloodier. Maybe next week, or maybe tomorrow night, because you ain't got to wait a whole week to see us again. You can see us again tomorrow night when we do our very first Really Scared watch along. We're gonna be watching Veronica, the Glenn Danzig feature, the Glenn Danzig joint, streaming exclusively on Shudder. Going live at 8, hitting play on the movie at 8:30. So that's going to be a fantastic event. I cannot wait to watch Veronica. It's going to be belligerent and weird, a little sensual, I think, if I understand correctly. I never watched it.
Yeah, I have not watched it yet. Waiting to watch it the first time here on stream.
Really a little sexy.
Yeah, could be.
And if people bust out, the sexy Halloween costumes this time of year. So I have no problem with us getting a little sexy on REELOWEEN. Live, no less. Live. And for free. We're for free. And you can get Shudder for free for a whole week if you go get the trial. So
yes, so we're going live at 8. That gives you people who don't have a subscription yet, sign up really quick, get set up, probably just do some chatting for about a half hour, and then we're going to press play right at 8:30.
That's right. We'll ideally have some sort of timer too. So if you show up a little late, you can sync it up. Jessica, I would wholeheartedly recommend. Oh, he's got pumpkin in the 6-pack as well. Go ahead, crack open that pumpkin. Get comfy. Get your blankies. It's a dark and stormy and creepy night. Let's get festive and enjoy REELOWEEN, the first night of REELOWEEN. When we're talking about tomorrow, let's not get too ahead of ourselves because we got a great show for you guys tonight. Hell of a way to kick things off. We've got a movie to review. We're talking about Antebellum, the new horror thriller, Antebellum. We're going to be doing our weekly recap as per usual on Lovecraft Country, the latest episode of Lovecraft Country. And once we're done with that, we're bringing in, for the third time, the original Really Scared guest, friend of the show, Alok Mishra, producer of 1BR, is returning once again. I am so excited that this is happening.
I'm surprised.
No, Jessica, watch along tomorrow. Watch alongs tomorrow night for Veronica.
I'm very surprised Alok has agreed to come back for a third time after what was at that point the longest episode on this channel.
I know. I haven't told him that we've beaten the streak, and if he wants to hold that title, we got to go at least 4 hours tonight. I haven't told him that, and I don't doubt our ability to go 4 hours, but it's not on my agenda.
It's not on mine either.
It's not. 1BLT, welcome to the stream, my man. Happy REELOWEEN. Always love seeing 1BLT in the chat. Of course I'm going to ask what you're eating. I hope it's candy, because now is the time of year where you just eat straight candy for 31 days, and you're going to feel really good about it. 24 hours, you think?
I mean, November might get close to that.
In November, we're doing at least a 12-hour stream. But again, we don't have to get too ahead of ourselves. We got a lot to look forward to, because Alok Mishra is coming back tonight. I agree. I'm almost surprised he is, but he's a fantastic friend of the show that he would do.
Yeah.
He's coming back, and we collectively are going to talk about 31. 30. You know how long we can talk about one movie on the show? We're going to talk about 31 movies tonight, and 31 movies that you can watch all through October. These are all new release horror movies, so it's a whole gang of stuff you've not seen before. It's some of it we've talked about on the show before, but there's stuff. There were there's all sorts of things out there. There's a little something for everybody.
Yeah, because I mean, it's well known that we have tried to do double features before, but we've kind of gotten away from that. So there's a lot of horror movies that we didn't get a chance to talk about. So some of those will definitely pop up on the list.
Well, Jessica, if you want to watch a scary movie I can't really promise a scary movie. I can promise a movie tomorrow. I can promise a movie. We're watching Veronica.
It's technically a horror movie.
Yeah, it's a movie. We'll see. We'll watch Veronica tomorrow. 8:00 stream starts. 8:30 movie starts. All you got to do is get a free trial to Shudder. That's all you got to do, and you can watch along with us. This is normally the time of the night where I ask you what you've been watching, but I'll be honest, I don't think we have time to talk about that.
No, I don't think we have time.
Because after last week, I need to be very realistic about how long-winded we can be, and we want to be able to bring in Alok as soon as he's ready. So we do not want to dawdle, and I don't want to cut anything because that would be a shame too. Lovecraft Country has gotten the shaft on this show before. Not tonight, baby. It's REELOWEEN. We promised the Ghouls and Goblins recap.
Oh, there's always time for food.
Well, wait, I won't be able to. There's time for food. I'm not eating because I don't feel like that'd be very pleasant to listen to me eat. It's not an ASMR channel, not yet anyway. I could see us having a really ASMR program sometime. But I'm drinking this, so at least there's that. And I hope you enjoyed your quesadillas earlier, won't be able to. Jessica, we should do a count along of how many times I scream or refuse to watch or ask a question. I don't know if you'll do any of those during Veronica.
I might ask a lot of questions.
You might scream in carnal pleasure. Yeah, you probably ask a lot of questions. I'm gonna be asking a lot of questions. I
think I will be too.
And if you refuse to watch it, I would say fair enough. But I hope you don't, and I hope nobody at home does. I hope they're ready to get not only freaked out. Well, yeah, I think they will get freaked out with Veronica. I think that's like the epitome of getting freaked out. It's freaked on. So that's tomorrow night. Tonight we've still got plenty of stuff to talk about, and again, no news either. No news. We're just jumping in.
There's a movie both of us watched.
Yes, and I know producer Matt somewhere out there in the cosmic shadows. I'm not sure if he watched it as well, but if he did, feel free to come in, chat about Antebellum if you like. If not, we'll find you another time. Nope, he said I'm getting a message. No, he didn't. That's fine. So it's just you and I, my friend, and that's totally fine. That's totally fine way to start off REELOWEEN. Let's talk about a movie called Antebellum. This was what we thought originally was going to be like the first wide release horror movie that we discuss on this show. Of course, we're in the bad timeline, so it went straight to VOD, straight to premium VOD release. You could watch it from home, which I don't mind. If I was going one way or the other, I'm glad I watched this at my house.
Yeah,
and that I didn't risk life and limb to go out into the chaotic madness of multiplex theaters right now to watch this movie, which is, I guess a hint of how I feel about it. But Antebellum, I guess, in a nutshell, what I'd say is a movie. It's tough to put it in a nutshell without giving it away. It's definitely one of those twist movies.
And that's my big issue with the movie is, the whole, like, they hinted at the twist during all the marketing.
Yeah.
And then when you watch the movie, it's like they're trying to hide the twist.
Yes.
The whole time. And you're like, we already know the twist. And you're trying to be coy about it. And it doesn't come along until like halfway through the movie. And I was just like, well, I don't really like it.
Yeah, it definitely loses like some of the narrative weight and punch because it feels like they've already kind of given it away. But I mean, that's more of a consequence of how it was marketed. I actually didn't realize that was the twist going into before I started watching the movie. I thought there was some genuine weird time travel thing that was happening based on the trailers I had seen. Now, I was really curious to see how that was going to unpack and what was happening.
I think it was the last trailer that really gave away the twist. It said something about they're keeping us here or something like that. There was like a line. I can't remember what the line from the movie was exactly, but it was basically the line that gave it away.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because the movie opens up on, for a while, what you would think is a mid-Civil War Confederate Southern plantation. It opens up on several slaves trying to escape this cotton plantation, and it's I mean, a grueling opening to the movie. Like, Jesus, this is a hard way to open. And look, I'll say, I mean, for what it's worth, technical credits, it's really well shot. It's all done in like what appears to be like one take, of showing like average day-to-day life on this plantation. It starts kind of serenely, like, you know, taking in all the nice scenery. Everybody's all nice and saying hello, good morning. And then finally the camera finds, you know, where the slaves are working, and finds a couple that are trying to escape. It's where we see Janelle Monáe's character for the first time, and the slaves are captured and they're murdered for trying to escape. And her character is we learn was somehow compliant and their escape attempt, and told like, don't ever attempt that again. So that's how the movie opens. I mean, I'm not really doing it service on just how fucking brutal this thing opens up. It definitely heart-wrenching. And then we kind of live in that for a while, and we live in this plantation and see the hardship and the struggle and the atrocity of it, and eventually get about halfway through the movie. It feels like that's where, that's kind of where the twist unravels, when it cuts to Janelle Monáe playing seemingly the same character in our time. And that's when they start to give it away. I definitely think this would have been more effective if I didn't see any of that stuff in the marketing, her living in a contemporary setting. I thought that knowing that was in there definitely was a shame, because seeing it for the first time, if I was watching it blind and it cut from her falling asleep, you know, in this shed on a plantation, to her waking up in like a very nice modern home as her cell phone alarm's going off. I think that the whiplash of that would have been a lot more effective had I not seen it in the trailers for the last couple of months. Did you have the same experience?
Yeah. Well, in the trailers, I did see like them in the modern times. But I don't know. The movie was just, I don't know. It was very disappointing. I thought, who's the actress who played the villain?
Oh, Jenna Malone.
Yeah, Jenna Malone. She's very cartoonish with that accent.
She's hamming it up.
Yeah. And like, I don't know. It kept trying to like establish a new villain, like every other scene. And you're just like, I don't really, like, they would be like so severe one point and then just like not really be very like violent the next scene. Like when the guy called the one slave called him like a cracker or something like that.
Yeah.
And he just was like, okay.
Yeah, I thought that character was dead as soon as that happened.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris. Loving the new aesthetic. You like our spooky aesthetic? It's REELOWEEN, baby. All orange and black, all festive. I credit where it's due. Matt coming up with these new backgrounds today. He helped put together that intro. A couple graphics will be showing later tonight. He really put in the work. Thank you, sir.
That's not the only thing I put together, because as promised, per Connor's request earlier, we got some REELOWEEN merch based off of this design.
That's news to me. All right.
All right. That's not what I was talking about, though.
Whoops.
We got something different coming.
Well, we got this. It's just for the month of October, so while that design was being pulled up, just wanted to plug that real quick.
Right on. Matt Thomas put it in the REELOWEEN work. Happy REELOWEEN to you, Nick Mulbach. Thank you for joining us, you handsome devil. Always love seeing you in the chat. Thank you for watching tonight, my friend. Yeah, Antebellum. So like, this movie has, and I knew about this going into it. This movie's been getting blasted as like the worst movie of the year, and I've seen that criticism not in one place, or not like in some weird article from a website. I don't know. I'm seeing established critics echoing that sentiment. This is the worst movie of the year. I think one of them edited it after the fact, and it became the worst horror movie of the year. So I was like, maybe that's a little better, but this is not. This is definitely. I don't know if this is praise, faint praise, but I don't think it's not the worst movie of the
worst
year.
movie of the year, but it's definitely among the worst of the year.
I don't know what my worst movie would be, to be completely honest with you, that I've watched this far. I really don't know what it would be. I've not. Usually, it comes to me right away.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know because movies just stopped coming out, so even the bad ones got kept in the vault somewhere.
It's definitely among them, though.
Yeah, I think there's potential somewhere in there.
There's potential, but they got close to it a few times, like being like really good, and then it just falls flat. And it does that multiple times, so it like tries to gain its footing and then just completely loses it. And it just, for something that would seem so high stakes, it never seemed like the stakes were that high.
I think maybe a consequence of it is that second act that all takes place in modern times.
Yeah.
Where like all the suspense of the first act, you lose it. You completely get disconnected from it. And it kind of takes a while to, but you also, like 2 minutes into the modern thing, like you totally figure out where the rest of the movie's going.
Oh, yeah.
I think the movie thinks it's a lot more clever than it really is in terms of plotting. See, you catch up to it too fast. So then the big reveal, how dare you, Jessica, saying Unhinged was the worst movie of 2020. I like Unhinged more than this movie. How dare you? She already knows. She said, don't crucify me. I won't do that. What am I, Bill Skarsgård and Devil all the time? That's a throwback to last week, our 4-hour epic.
But yeah, there's no stakes in that second act because we know where it's going.
Yeah. Because that's the reveal. If you didn't watch it and you're just listening to the plot through this, that's the reveal, is that in modern times, so Janelle Monáe is, again, the main character whose name is escaping me. I remember that on the plantation they call her Eden. That's not her real name.
No.
I can't remember her real name, so forgive me. In reality, she's this like sociologist and author, and is going on a book tour and giving these speaking engagements about modern race relations and philosophy, and all the while she's basically being stalked primarily by, I guess, Jenna Malone's character, who is all very goofy. She's like practically doing a Foghorn Leghorn impression.
Yeah.
Like as soon as she shows up, it's like, if you didn't know better, you would still go, oh, that's the villain, huh?
That's a beautiful shade.
Yeah, she's she's very hammy. And I've seen her in stuff I like, but she's very hammy in this. And so she's the main character's being targeted and is eventually kidnapped, where she is taken to this, what we eventually learn is the site of like modern Civil War reenactments, and there's this plantation on site. But secretly, this group, these modern white supremacists, are kidnapping people of color and secretly forcing them into slavery while they act out this weird Confederate like fetish power fantasy.
Yeah, and I feel like if they went more sci-fi with it, it would have probably have been better. But the whole reveal, like the whole part where they get the phone.
Yeah,
and are able to just ping their location and they get rescued, was really just like, it was just very anticlimactic. And then you find out the whole thing is taking place just a little bit further than like a reenactment battlefield.
Yeah, it's like over the hill.
It's like, it's a little further down. All these people are being held captive. It's like, really? No one noticed?
Right. And I think maybe the grand kind of point the movie is making is that there's not as much dissonance as we like to believe between the nightmarish race. I guess you can't even really call it race relations. I mean, just the forced servitude and nightmarish, the nightmarish timeline of history, of American history into slavery. There's not as much of a difference and not as much time between that and where we are at as a country and society right now. I think that's I
guess
think
that
that's the way they played it visually at the very end, is like there's a plantation staffed with slaves, and like next door is a gift shop that everyday people are attending and going to these reenactments. I think that was like the final like visual encapsulation of the point the movie was trying to make there at the end. And I think that's a really smart like idea to start with, but I think it's just the execution, unfortunately, that I wasn't invested as much as I should have been. And I think the marketing did this a disservice in a lot of ways, in that it gave away the twist, but also I thought it made the twist seem kind of cooler than it was, because there's that shot in the trailer where you see the plane going over the sky,
and then it disappears,
and this just goes across the sky.
Yeah, it's like they reversed that shot, because you just see it come into frame and then it just keeps going. But in this one, you see it already in the trailer, you see it in frame already, and then it disappears.
Yeah.
So it's like they just reverse shot it or something. I don't know, but
kind of rude.
It was very misleading, because I thought it was definitely more sci-fi, and then we got this.
Yeah, and it was hard. It was harder to get invested in than I thought it would be. Then even just saying the story out loud, it doesn't sound as bad as I say it out loud as it kind of is. I thought there was a potential. It looks. This is how you always know the movie wasn't great, is when I start praising just the technical end of it. Like, it looks good. Shots are nice. It does look good. And I guess
was so cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was very, very cinematic, and it's not like it looked cheap or crappy. Obviously the people making it on a technical and working on set knew what they were doing. I guess the directors come from music videos, which I think makes a lot of sense when how visually put together it is, but then narratively kind of lacking.
Yeah.
I guess that makes a lot of sense. That's consistent. And the final sequence where she finally gets free and it becomes kind of a revenge thing. I mean, like, I'm never going to complain about seeing somebody torch a couple white supremacists, especially this week. Any week is a good week, but especially this week.
That was a great part. I love that part where she just kind of traps them in there and then lights them on fire. The revenge stuff was cool.
Although the duel with Jenna Malone, it was very good. Anything with Jenna Malone's character is goofy in this.
Yeah.
She's like yelling out in her silly accent and firing her stupid like 19th century revolver out into like the fog. Just silly.
And not even like, it's like you're like, I'm not gonna hit anything.
There's no one there. You don't even see anybody. What are you doing? Yeah, it's
shove those pellets back in, and
I think one of the criticisms I'm seeing also kind of levied against it is how hard and how heavy and daunting the subject material is versus the quality of the movie. And that there's been so many movies about this time in America. There's been so many stories similar to this one, and I can't speak to this perspective, but and this was something I'm only learning from reading the reviews and critiques and things. But I think there's maybe for people of color a kind of an exhaustion to watch these types of stories. And if you're going to do it, you've got to do it really well. You've really got to do it justice. Yeah. And I can't speak to that perspective. That's just something I'm noticing it as I read critiques and reviews and things like that, and like letterbox posts and all that. I see a lot of sentiment along those lines. And I thought that was interesting, because that's not something I would have had the capacity or perspective to really understand or see. So, I mean, it's a shame, because I was looking forward to this movie throughout the year. I mean, it kept getting pushed back, and I was like, oh, damn, that looks pretty good. And although we knew right from the jump, we were like, these guys want us to think Jordan Peele made this movie, and he did not. They kept saying producer of Get Out and us, and we knew better. If it was Jordan Peele, would have just said Jordan Peele. You don't have to explain who he is. And I feel like the movie definitely wants to be as good as Get Out. I mean, fair enough. Who doesn't want to be as good as Get Out? But it's just not there. the concept's not there. The character work and the writing's just not as strong as a movie like that. And I mean, not to take anything away from it. I mean, I couldn't write Get Out, so I'm not, I'm not saying, you know, everybody should be as good of a horror writer as Jordan Peele. I'm not, but this just wasn't it, unfortunately, which was just too bad. I feel like we've been talking about this movie for a while on this show.
Yeah.
New trailers coming out and info comes out, delays. I feel like it's been a bit of a lead up to Antebellum. And I was prepared to really enjoy it. I was like, cool, our first wide release horror movie, like, and since what, Underwater at the start of the year?
Which is, I like Underwater.
Yeah, I like Underwater, all right. I like Underwater, all right. It's not on our list later tonight, but there's stuff I like that's also not on the list. So if it doesn't show up later, it doesn't mean we didn't like it. But it's later tonight. If you missed the opening, we've got Alok Mishra coming back on to talk about 31 new horror movies you can watch this month.
Out of I don't know, what would we do?
What prop do you select from this that doesn't feel super disrespectful and tone deaf? A fucking horror movie on a plantation. It's tough. I'm trying to think of like something funny in like the middle section. Maybe I can't think of anything.
5 creepy white girls.
Personally, I don't want to see any creepy white girls. But if I'm putting them on a scale, 2.
Yeah, I'm right with you.
Maybe 2.5, just because the movie looks nice. That's mostly what I'm rewarding.
I'm right at 2.
A strict 2 creepy white girls. 2 foghorn leghorns.
I'm sorry if you hear that wrestling in the background. Those are my cats. They're going toe to toe right now.
They should get on. This is a good time of year for the cats to go when they stand up on their haunches. It's a good time of year for that kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Antebellum, didn't love it, which is a shame. And I don't even know if I liked it.
We're at the end of the year. We should go back and like make a list and our ratings.
Rank them all.
Yeah, like
based on our show ratings.
Yeah.
I know who's at the top. Thinking of anything, that's for you. It's gonna be hard to top that. It looks like.
Yeah,
it's gonna be hard to top that. 1BLT's cat has a negative IQ. 1BLT, you have a cat? You never told us this before.
See, we're cat people.
Tell me everything I need to know about your cat. Apparently not the most intelligent cat, but that's okay. Tell me what they look like. Tell me what they like to eat. What do your cats like to eat? Let me know. This is very important to me.
Let's talk about Lovecraft Country.
Let's talk about Lovecraft Country.
How'd you like it, bud?
Every single 1BLT hates their cat. That makes me very sad. It's actually dumb.
It's actually dumb.
Interesting. Tell me top dumb thing your cat's done. Let me know. Every week on this show, we talk about HBO's Lovecraft Country. We do these weekly episode recaps, give our thoughts on it, give a little play-by-play on the plot. We've really been enjoying the show so far, so it's great to keep up with it like this. It's been a lot of fun. I know Matt has watched Lovecraft Country. Where's he at? There he is.
Hello.
Welcome, my friend.
How you doing, sir?
I'm all right. It's REELOWEEN, man. Happy REELOWEEN.
Happy REELOWEEN.
We are
Happy REELOWEEN.
Getting cozy, getting creepy, drinking some pumpkin beverages. Do you have one?
No.
Oh my God.
You got to remember, I don't drink all that often.
Yeah, but you have to on this show, right?
No, but there's another show you got to drink on.
That's true. Really Drunk coming soon. Don't play the trailer right now. I don't want to edit Chumbawamba out of the audio again. Can't believe Chumbawamba hasn't come for me.
At least I did it at the before and the after last time.
Yes, a nice Chumbawamba sandwich. That's easier to get at.
Exactly.
1BLT said the prophet is here, man. When did you become a prophet in this, man?
I have no idea. So, hey, thanks.
What prophecies have you? I didn't get to watch Spin from the Reel. Did you predict something?
I mean, I always make predictions. I'm normally right. Chris is normally wrong. That's how that show works.
Maybe you made a Schmodown prediction and you got it right.
Did you predict Jamie Foxx was coming back as like?
No.
No one predicted that shit.
God.
We'll save it for real talk. I think we'll do an hour on
God.
an Electro on Sunday.
Oh God.
Lovecraft Country.
Lovecraft Country.
Let's see.
talk
This
about
is the
Lovecraft.
7th episode, and with every show, you know, there's always that 1 week episode, and it took 7 episodes for them to get that, which is a feat. I mean, we went this long with just fantastic episode after episode, and this was, I believe, the weakest episode.
I'm right there with you, Connor. This was without a doubt my least favorite episode of the show.
And I was super excited for it. I think our sentiments last episode were like, this episode looks so good. It looks like it's gonna
time travel instead of space.
And it seems like they ultimately kept most of what's in the book, just added to it, with her going in different places. Ultimately, and we're talking about Hippolyta, of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
George's wife. So she finally opens up that solar system thing, figures out how to open it. There's a key and some coordinates. She goes back to Lovecraft Country, where the coordinates are, and finds a planetarium.
Yeah.
And puts in the key, and then let's see, Tick.
She's figured all this out, that she's figured out how to open the thing,
and a portal opens up. Tick has followed her there, tries to like keep her from getting sucked into this vortex portal thing.
Forgot the cops. The cops that were.
Oh yeah, there's cops there too. They get shot
by Tick. No, not by Tick. By Hippolyta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she gets sucked into this portal and goes through time and space. Wakes up in this white void.
Yeah.
And she has these like devices in her wrist. And there's also another like being there who basically tells her that she needs to name herself, essentially. And she goes through like different dimensions, I guess, to try to make a name for herself. So let's see, we see her dancing in Paris with a dancer.
Famous dancer's name slipping my mind right now.
Yeah,
I'll get it because it's also slipping in my mind.
It's a very forgettable episode. That's basically the point of this.
she goes to like this
Josephine Baker.
Josephine
Yeah.
Baker, yeah.
Yes.
I can't remember what the point of that was, but she says something to her, and
because they're like, tell me where you want to go. Tell me when you want to go, and she just says it sarcastically.
yeah, but then the dancer like is talking to her, and then she says like, I am Hippolyta.
And then that's when we get to the next place, which is like this black warrior.
Yeah, it's like
time.
these Amazonian women in a desert, but it seems like it's merged with Confederate soldiers.
Yep. Very weird.
Yeah. And then it's only like a handful of these warriors, and they slay a bunch of these Confederate soldiers. She makes like a powerful speech and says, I am Hippolyta.
Turn around and there's a fuck ton more.
Yeah, like a huge army of them. And then she goes to another place.
Which brings her back with George.
Yeah, like a separate Earth where George is alive. And that's probably like the highlight of the episode is seeing George again.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing them finally like having a final moment together. They end up going to like an alien planet when they're like researching together and making notes, all this stuff. It's a sweet moment. And she comes to like a realization that she's like, she can be whoever she wants to be. She doesn't have to be limited by like society. and the being comes back and tells her like she's like named herself essentially, and she doesn't have to have these devices in her wrist, and she can choose to stay or go back to her home. And it seems ultimately she chooses to stay, which is weird because she has a daughter.
Right.
I thought she wasn't going to stay.
They cut away before she made her final decision. While we
Doesn't come back because the portal.
Right. And that I was about to say, I always see his tick come back through the portal. So we're left thinking she's chosen to stay, but for all we know, that might change in these last 3 episodes. Is all I'm bringing up. Like
I didn't see her in the trailers for the final 3 episodes. So
yeah, but you never. It's one of those surprises they might try to throw in. That's all I'm trying to get at.
It'll be one of those Gandalf moments.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. It was just a very forgettable episode.
Connor and I were talking before this, and I'm like, there has never been an episode of Lovecraft Country where I'm just on my phone actively until this episode.
Like it seems like they were going to go back and forth between Hippolyta's story and then continuing Tick's story with,
and they didn't.
With his time in Korea, but they didn't do that.
Right. Yeah. There was nothing coming directly out of the previous episode.
Yeah. There's like a couple like lines about it, but nothing really. There's a lot of stuff they like start to bring up at the beginning of the episode that ultimately never. It's like
there's one thing that bugged me is, well, she's like, he's like, well, we need the car. She's like, well, I it's my car. This, that, and the other. I'm going. How does he get to Devon County?
They took the Greyhound.
Oh yeah, I forgot. That's how forgettable this episode. That, like I said,
yeah,
like they're talking about like the dreams that him and Letitia
what he had been having, with that woman who's running in the old house.
They bring that up, and they don't really go further with that.
Letty has they do a little bit because Letty had one that she was pregnant.
No, yeah, but they don't go any further. They bring that up at the beginning of the episode, and then that's it. Well,
no, because you have Letty puking and starting to really pregnant, so they do go a little bit.
That's at the beginning of the episode, but there's literally nothing.
I thought that was more towards the middle, but I was just bringing up the
nothing after that. They bring up the book. Because his grandmother escaped with the whole book with like all the teachings on how to actually cast the spells.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, if we don't have the missing pages, that's what they're looking for. We'll find the whole book. Like, we don't need those pages. We'll just find the whole book, and then we'll have all the power. They don't go further with that. Tick finds out that his dad is secretly gay.
Yeah, that's a big moment that kind of gets lost in all the crazier stuff.
We find out his mom knew.
Yeah, and the way Atticus responds
further upon throughout the episode, like all this stuff at the first like 20 minutes of the episode, there's a lot of interesting stuff along with Hippolyta's story, like going on, and then we lose all of that to focus on the less interesting part of Hippolyta's story,
which is interesting because I think, Connor, you'd probably agree that's kind of how this segment of the book goes.
Yes.
Is it's so disconnected from the other stories, and it feels like the absurd one, and it's just not very compelling. I was looking because we've been waiting to see what's happening with Hippolyta for a couple episodes. I feel like they queued up. She's going to go investigate George's death like maybe 2 episodes ago, maybe 3 episodes ago.
About 3. It was the end of episode 4. I remember because Jenny was watching episode 5 today.
Yeah, and so I was looking forward to seeing how that would unravel, and especially in this rendition of the story. And it looked like they were going to do. I mean, I guess I do still think.
Yeah, that's exactly how we felt 1BLT.
I do still think what they did was cooler than the book, but it definitely this was the least interesting episode, unfortunately, so far for sure. And I think maybe because this really gets away from the horror of it and really goes into like a weird sci-fi thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she does go to a different planet for a little bit. She does seemingly meet an alien of some sort.
Yep.
Seems like she sort of time travels. Yeah, goes to different dimensions. On paper, it all should really be cool, but for one reason or another, and maybe it's a consequence of not really getting a lot of Hippolyta's character up until now. You know, I don't really feel one way or the other. You know, she was married to George, and you know she's part of this family that we're connected to and attached to, but we've not really had a lot of time just with her. I guess this was our opportunity to have that, but I agree. I just, for one reason or another, I just couldn't get into this one very much.
Mm-hmm.
Now there is one detail we're missing out on, and that is the end when Tick comes out of the portal. He comes out with a book titled
Lovecraft Country.
Oh yeah,
which I paused because I wanted to see if Matt Ruff's name was on it, and it's not.
No, it's not. But I was like,
yeah, that was very interesting too. I noticed that, and I was like, that's kind of meta.
Yeah, I was like, does he literally have a novel about what's happening to him in his hands? Like, is that how insane this is going to get? Still
I
not.
hope so. I hope so. It gets super meta where like he's reading the story of Lovecraft Country that we've read, and like he's like he can be prophetic pretty much.
Or maybe not, because the book's different, you know?
Yeah, it's very true.
You're like, why is my uncle alive in the book? What's going on?
Yeah.
Well, here's what I had to say about it. We don't know what happened to him during his time in that portal and how he got that book.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's true. I completely forgot he comes out of the portal, meaning he went in.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Because we don't see him go in, we just see him come out.
Maybe he joined the really scared.
Oh, we see him get sucked in right after Hippolyta. We do see that actually. It's like immediately afterwards, like he gets sucked in real quick, and that's why he gets spit out.
It took me like 2 hours to watch this episode.
Yeah, like I said, it's not the best episode. It was very disappointing, but I'm curious if during his time and wherever he was, and this is just my theory, he actually got to meet his grandmother. Maybe that is the book with the answers for all we know.
Oh, I guess it could be, right? Because if it's the story of Lovecraft Country, it's going to say what's going to happen in it.
It'll be interesting to see how they tie everything together, considering we only have 3 episodes left.
Right.
And the previews are definitely more hopeful than what we've seen in this episode. It looks like the next episode is going to be based on Hippolyta's daughter.
Oh, yeah. That's what the preview was. And so
the like little toy, like
so we're coming up on what I thought in the book I thought was the most genuine scary section.
Me too, and it looks scarier than what was in the book. Yeah. Like it genuinely looked terrifying. Yeah.
So this is I'm really excited to see how they adapt this part, because it was really the only thing in the book that I was like, this is a horror story.
Yes.
This feels like it's making good on the promise of like being influenced by horror authors and stories. Mm-hmm. So I'm very curious to see how they pull that part off. Did they show a toy pursuing her in this one? I don't.
You see like these little legs like walking in front of her on the bike. You see her in front of the toy store. It's definitely where they're going.
Yeah, I'm excited for this.
And you see a glimpse of something that looked really, really creepy, and I guarantee it's the toy. I'm almost 100. I'm 99.9% positive that's where they're going, and it's going to be very creepy.
Well, it also looked like we saw this us version of her.
I don't recall that. I mean, like you guys, I'm actually as you guys were doing kind of the recap, I was like, either remembering things or going like, I didn't know that happened. So like a lot of this didn't stick with me. Also, in all fairness, I definitely dozed off in the middle of it, which is not, I don't think it's a reflection of the show. It's more
just a reflection of this episode.
It's maybe a little bit of the episode, but also very much of how goddamn tired I am all the time right now. But yeah, I'm excited for it's a good point. 3 episodes left, so we're definitely.
Buddy, you're just gonna have to start drinking G Fuel like the rest of us.
I've seen there's like a nitro pumpkin out there. It's got like it's like a cold brew coffee pumpkin.
Maybe
so
I did
basically pumpkin 4 logo.
I saw nitro cold brew Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Okay, well,
should I get real trashy next episode, or should I go whole hog?
Oh God.
I mean, let's set it up. I think next week Connor Breedlove goes whole hog.
Yeah,
something,
going whole hog.
something to look forward to. Watching Possessor and going whole hog while we do it. Yeah, we got 3 episodes of Lovecraft Country left. This is where all comes to a head. So like, there's really no. This felt like maybe the last maybe, I don't know, I want to say the laid back episode, but this maybe is the last kind of side quest the show can afford to take, because I feel like the last 3 are really going to conclude the story this whole show's been telling. Because I remember in the book that the sequence we're talking about within the,
It really sets everything up.
and it's kind of the last thing that happens before we get to the conclusion, right?
Yeah.
Where it really all ties in, and we see how Ruby's related to it, and how Hippolyta and Atticus and Letitia. But also worth saying, because they don't even have a romance in the book, so Letitia definitely doesn't get pregnant in the book. So I don't know how her being pregnant with Atticus's child, I'm not sure how that's going to factor in. But as soon as that happened, I went, oh man, something weird's going to happen with that baby. They got some weird evil baby or something.
Yeah.
Some weird evil baby magic.
I'm not gonna play the scene, but this is what I was referring to when I from the trailer next week.
It's got a couple. Oh, there's like two girls dressed up almost exactly the same. I see what you're saying.
And they're all dirtied, and if I remember correctly, there's a scene a little bit further where they're bloody up too. So
the Shining riff as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll see. So far in this show, they've been very clever. They've taken the best parts of the book, they've taken the lesser parts of the book, and they always find a way to amp them up and make them even better. So for a part of the book that I really liked, I think on our book club it wasn't popular with Adam, I believe. I think he didn't like that part. He thought it was silly. But for me, I thought it was solid. I thought it was a creepy part of the book. So yeah, I could see it very visually in my head. So I'm excited to see how they pull this off next week, and excited to see where it's going. Because we're talking about prophecies earlier. The one's been set. Apparently Atticus isn't going to survive. That's when he was in Korea. I forget the character's name, but the woman he had met there, the spirit, she had seen his death when they connected, and we understand that there's a lot of death coming from the prophecy she was given at the very end. So I don't even think we've seen the darkest of this show yet. It's going to get real crazy in these last 3 episodes. And even having heard the book, I feel like I have no idea what's going to happen, which is exciting.
Yeah.
This show is great. I mean, I'm what a relief that this show is good, because wouldn't it suck if we would have to talk about, we'd be 7 weeks in talking about a show we don't really like? God, I would hate that. Yeah. So what a relief. I mean, we kind of knew ahead of time how bad could it get with the team attached to it. So
yeah,
it's good. This is the first episode where we're all like, it was okay. 7 weeks in a row. You take that long for me to go, this one was okay.
I didn't think it was okay.
Mentioning at the beginning is that like it's impressive that it took us 7 weeks to finally be like, meh.
Yeah.
Because every episode it's been like, wow, this one definitely upped.
Just kept getting better.
Yeah.
This time it didn't get better. So hey, it is what it is. That said, I think there's no more time for okay episodes in this show. It's going to be hit after hit. And it's gonna be weird, and it's gonna be scary, and it's gonna be gruesome, I think.
I kind of wish they had put this episode as episode 5, because then it would have been like right in the middle of the show. We had that. Maybe
but I guess having so many hits up until now, I'm just like, well, it's all right. It is what it is. This one didn't kill it for me, but it's an anomaly otherwise. Where if I was earlier, I'd go,
now, but I guess that's I don't know. It's interesting that this came now instead of immediately after Hippolyta left to investigate.
Yeah, because we felt like when we watched that episode that she was going there that moment, and to have two episodes away from her, then we find out she went there. She was just at the ruins. She came across George's copy of Dee's comic, and then came back. Is like, well, that was a little underwhelming. But Taylor, I do actually want to talk to you in regards to Lovecraft Country about what I brought up to you early in our text message.
Yes, you discovered something interesting that I didn't know.
So the white woman that Ruby is becoming is actually the dog trainer from episode 2.
Yeah, I did not realize we had seen that character already.
The dog trainer.
So remember when Tick is the only person who can remember what happened the previous night with the monsters and everything? And then Letty and George.
The monsters from the first episode.
The monsters from the first.
Yeah. Oh, that is her.
Yeah. I'm sitting there. Jen was watching episode 5 today. I'm like, wait, why does
Did
that?
you ever see the dog trainer in what? Catherine? Is it Catherine?
No, we never saw them on the same.
The dog trainer was her the whole time because
it's very possible.
William was her the whole time as well.
I mean, it is possible.
Both bodies in the basement.
Exactly. But for all we know, it's possible. I won't say for sure that's the case because there's the chance that that woman was injured because they had just come from like talking to William or Catherine and her father right before that scene. So she could have been injured during.
Didn't one of them like bash her head in or something?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe that's when she took her body and like created the potion.
Yeah, because I'm sitting there, I'm like, why does this woman look so? Oh wait, hey, because we were literally, I want to say, less than a minute into the episode. I said, Jen, I know you want to catch up, but let me pause this real quick, and I'm gonna go check something in episode 2. And I fast forward until I saw her. I'm like, oh shit.
That's a good catch. I hadn't seen anybody talking about that since the Ruby.
Yeah, that is a good catch.
Yeah, and I'm like, I texted Taylor immediately. I'm like, yo, did you realize this?
Yeah, no, it's some good sleuth work. Interesting. I wonder if that fact will factor into what's happening.
Here's my
Tina
review on Elysian Night Owl.
All right.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Love to hear it.
Well, here, like, and you bringing up the will it factor in? I'm wondering because if I remember correctly, I think it was Letty who hit that woman in the head. So I'm wondering if Letty sees Ruby in that skin.
Yeah.
There's a confrontation.
This one's for Jessica.
Yes. Who also I saw her in the chat. I didn't want to interrupt the Lovecraft talk, but she did put her.
I have to catch up.
Connor has to catch up with Love Island. He didn't finish it.
I will admit that I stopped watching after watching 24 hours worth of Love Island in like 2 days. So I did stop, but I will catch up and we'll have a really drunk episode.
Yeah, and let it be known, Really Drunk is currently booking, right? It's currently looking for talent.
I do have my first guest.
Who is it?
Do we
want to announce?
Yeah, let's announce it.
It's me. Wow, who'd have thought I'd be the first guest on I'm Really Drunk.
First guest on this channel in general, might as well be the first guest on every show.
I'm a classic guest. I'm a big get.
And let's announce the topic.
Yeah, so it is funny because it's like
let it just be known that I'm not doing any research whatsoever. The whole point is I'm drunk, and a guest comes on with a topic that they want to talk about, and I kind of discover it as they're talking about it.
Yeah.
And then I'll put input as I learn while being incredibly intoxicated.
Yes. And for our episode, for my episode, however you want to say it, we're going to be talking about cryptozoology, cryptids. So this includes your Sasquatches, your Loch Ness monsters, your Mothmen, your Jersey Devils, all sorts of bizarre, weird walks of life and and evolution. We're going to be talking about cryptozoology on the first
One
episode. Of
BLT's
Really
react. One BLT. We are sorry to announce that this show won't be live, though. That is something we are, or it's going to be up to whoever the guest is, whether it's live or not.
Yeah.
That's what I should say, because with people getting belligerently drunk, they might.
Who would do that?
Yeah, they might say something that they don't want online after the fact. So
I don't want to upset the Sasquatches out there. So we're going to keep it pre-recorded. Although let me know if you're a Sasquatch in chat, holler at us. I'd love to get you on Really Drunk as well.
your cereal
these topics.
is hot dog a sandwich.
Is this one BLT's pitch for Really Drunk? Because I mean, look, like
We'd love to get you on Really Drunk, one BLT. Like,
Because
one BLT can't drink, but
the viewer or the guest does not need a drink.
yes,
Yeah.
it's just Connor who's drinking.
yes.
For the-
I mean, it's up to
Not this time. I'm
Yeah.
drinking.
Yeah, we're getting very.
Yeah.
Very.
I'm gonna get drunk. I'm gonna tell you about Mothman. I'm sure we'll talk about aliens a little bit. We're gonna talk about cryptids and crawlers and all sorts of weird stuff. And it's gonna. If you think this show is belligerent and rambling and wild, that's the very nature of Really Drunk. I understand.
Yes, it is the core concept.
Yes. Well, one BLT, if you're gonna watch, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
YouTube. It'll go up on the audio platforms as well: iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and the iHeartRadio app.
An announcement for the release.
And we should be on Amazon Music soon. Also, we got an invite to join there from Amazon. So,
Cheers, Bezos.
The premiere date will definitely be announced very soon. So just keep a lookout for that.
And I feel like it's a pretty decent REELOWEEN tie-in. I didn't really mean for it to be that way, but
Yeah, no, it's perfect.
now's the time that the really scary stuff comes out of the shadows and like runs across your backyard, and you try to film it, but it's really blurry. And Jessica wants to watch and talk about Borat 2 on Really Drunk.
We might be talking about Borat 2 on the video store.
Oh, the video store. What's that? I don't know. I don't know if we're still ready to formally announce that, but we definitely will have more details coming soon. More details on what it is and when you can watch it and where you can watch it. But always something in
We'll
the
be
works.
secretive about that. What is the video store? Well, it's
I
a
don't
place where you can rent movies.
I think there's like a Blockbuster Airbnb now.
Yeah.
Somewhere. The last
Yeah.
one got converted in Airbnb. Would love to stay there sometime.
Yeah, me too.
there is an asterisk by that because you have to have your Blockbuster membership card still.
Really?
Yep, that is their one thing. You have to have your Blockbuster membership card still.
Are people selling Blockbuster membership cards online for like $1,000 now?
I don't know because it only costs like $5 to stay there.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I don't have my Blockbuster card anymore, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, me neither.
I think I lost it. And I think there's probably, if I did find it, I scanned it in. That's what they're going to get you. All your late fees come up when you check in. That's it. And you've been accruing for the last like decade. They've been still accumulating.
Oh, because
I definitely have a large late fee total for family video.
Yeah. Do you know the number?
Oh, I don't know. It's probably like somewhere
Roll the T.
$80 or something.
$80.
I got like 40 for Drug Mart. So hey,
When I worked there, I had a bunch of movies out, and then I left. And then forgot to return them, and then returned them. But this is what I found out from working there. Just because you have a membership at every store is independent, so they don't share the same catalog of memberships.
Oh.
So if you rack up a bunch of late fees at one store, doesn't mean you can't go, a couple counties over and go to your next one.
One BLT. Also, I'm going to say no, Joe Rogan's not coming on the show.
Yeah. One, that'd be an impossible get. Two, fuck that idiot.
But we'll talk. Maybe we'll talk about like some. I feel like he talks about like weird monkey videos on the show a lot. So we might have some of that on my cryptozoology episode.
Isn't it
during that.
insane that like We were once monkeys.
Maybe we'll watch some Bigfoot videos. I feel like you can like.
Yeah. We'll definitely.
You think legally we can get away with that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. If it's on YouTube, it's legal.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll try it out. I'll see if I can find some hits. 1BLT, what's your favorite Halloween candy? I wonder if we talked about that before.
You did.
What is your guys' favorite Halloween candy?
Oh, I'll show you.
It's Halloween, baby. Oh, he's got some.
For me, well, before Butterfingers changed their recipe, it was Butterfingers and 100 gram bars. Those are my
candy. Every day of the year.
Okay, now it is coming back to me. Yeah, that you're more of a fruity candy fella.
Yeah,
I'll be honest. I hate Sour Patch Kids.
Hate?
They hate you.
Defiantly eating.
I will eat them if they're in front of me, but just because I'm like hungry, if that's all the candy there is. But I don't like Sour Patch Kids. Jenny loves them though.
So if you were starving in the desert and came across a pound of Sour Patch Kids, you might take a couple, but otherwise probably not.
Yeah, probably.
I gotcha. Well, ladies and gentlemen, ghouls and goblins, I should say, we promised you a great show tonight, and we're delivering nothing less than that because we do have a special guest coming in. The great and almighty Alok Mishra, friend of the show, producer of 1BR, which you've heard no shortage of talk about on this show. And I gotta tell you, I don't think we're done talking about it on this show. Our first ever guest coming back for the third time. Love to see it. So excited. Alok Mishra!
What's up, motherfuckers?
It seems like you're more gray than the last time we saw you.
Well, you know, I'm old. Am I on two spots in this? Or sorry, okay, I see what's going on. Okay, sorry. Got it. Well, you know, listen, you have a baby. It unfortunately ages you to no end. I've been trying to teach the baby how to swim. That also ages you too, because you're just like, is this baby gonna drown? Am I gonna let this baby drown? I'm like, fight for it. Come on, you can get that. Like, it's sort of a sadistic end to it. Like, you know, like, you were shitty to me today. You want to grab onto daddy for help? I'm like, no, swim for it. I'm
gonna help you a little less.
Well, I mean, I feel like that's like the survival of the fittest. Let's say. That's terrible. My wife is not going to watch this, so that's a good news. Anyways, but it's good seeing your faces. I miss you. I always love to see you guys, and like I try to pop in randomly to different things, and to support you guys. And it's because you're one of the alerts, and I would suggest that everyone. I would suggest that everyone actually sets their Facebook or whatever it is to get the alert when you guys are on, because I'll just be like, who is this fucker Matt's talking to who's just scared of everything, just scared of life? That kid's just scared of life. Like
he still has not watched 1BR.
Again, he's just scared of life, that kid. I think he's lived some life. Like
in his defense, he was going to watch it with his former roommate before the roommate moved. And then some scheduling got in the way, and
I'll tell you that
screw it. I'm watching
the roommate probably moved out because he was sick of that dude. Because you're scared of everything. You're scared of everything. You fucker. Why are you scared of everything?
My fiance showed her mom 1BR, and her mom said, "Why does Connor like these kinds of movies?"
It's actually pretty vanilla. I mean, actually, sorry, my hair is just weird right now. I'm trying to figure out how to fix it.
Jessica did say you're looking real spooky. I don't know if she met you. I don't know if that's good or bad, but looking great as always, my friend.
Who knows? All right. So no, I was gonna say that I don't think the movie's that spooky. I mean, it's not. It's okay. If we're at a 9, a scale of like 1 to 10, and 10 being the scariest, right?
4. I gotta have 4.
I'm a 4 or 5 if it's anything. It's like
there's question came up at the hands being nailed into the wall.
Yeah, but like that portion. Okay, listen, it's like a minute long, and
right.
I've seen people watch it. I'm in audiences and stuff, and like there's like the person that's doing this, right, and then there's the person that's doing this, and then the person's doing this. I mean, there's all different ways to look at it, but I think most of the people, for the most part, are not as scared or whatever. But listen. We should get on to the business at hand.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just had a couple noodle because how much time I had to eat. Like I literally had a couple noodle and it's disgusting and I just feel gross. But it was actually kind of delicious in a certain way. But I'm not sure I had those green things on my like teeth.
Well, green onion. Were you
I'm
podcasting right before this? I feel like you're in a never-ending cycle of podcasts.
It was actually a podcast right before this. I was with Naomi and Clayton, who play Lester and Janice, respectively. And this is like this is the third one for the week. I'm doing one more. We're doing one more tomorrow for, like, I mean, listen, if people are going to ask, we're going to give. We want to give the public what they need. And I think that it's interesting. Like we had I can't talk about it, but we had a nice meeting with Netflix this week. So we'll see what happens. And,
Okay.
So yeah, interesting stuff going on. That's all. I'm giving you the inside scoop actually, because I haven't mentioned that to anybody yet. So
I'm glad to hear. I've actually, before we even got started, I had a question for you. How does this success feel since the drop on Netflix? Because last we talked to you, it was before the film even released on Netflix. We were pumping it up.
I mean, it's been great. I mean, everything we talk about here, right? Like coming on these podcasts, your podcast, coming on anyone's podcast, coming on doing interviews, and also just trying to get the word out there any which way you can, like in the Twitter sphere and the Google sphere and all the bullshit that you have to do. Like it all sort of culminated with us getting to number 1 on Netflix.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. Like that was I cried that day. I put the Rocky, not even Rocky 3, Rocky 1, the Rocky 4, Hearts on Fire, fucking on a loop, right? On a loop in my thing, and I was just sitting in front of the computer like, we did it. Because I was like, we did do it, because like that was the thing. Like we didn't get a theatrical release. I mean, we never got to number 1 on iTunes because, we're a small film and people were discovering it then. But enough word of mouth and enough like sort of real, grassroots effort to get into people's eye holes and ear holes had worked, or at least put it into their minds. They were like, all right, what's one beer? It's on Netflix. It's free. Oh, fuck, I'll watch it now.
Yeah.
So it got to that point when people did, and if you watch it, and it was interesting. It started off on a Sunday, like August 23rd, and the whole way it works with Netflix, I guess, is that you get on, but you're never getting to. They've already announced the number 1, but it's the number 1 for the day before, right? And so when that sorry, sorry, someone's doing something here. I don't know what's going on.
You're too busy podcasting, man. People want to know you're still alive.
I think it's what it is. Text you later, son of a bitch. I'm literally typing out son of a bitch. Because I just have to. No, but the time it actually got on Netflix, there was enough traction. Like, let's put it this way: how many people do I know? And I'm a big connector of people, and I love to connect people, and friends are friends. At the most, I can connect 100,000 people, right? Netflix has 80 million subscribers, right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't us that did it. I mean, it was us like trying to get it into every single place we could social media wise. And once if you actually like look it up or you hashtag it or whatever, there's like 100,000 really great reviews. And so it's the idea that we did all that work to get to that point to have those reviews that then lighted up everyone to like say, okay, listen, I'm going to tell, if I liked it, I'm going to tell a friend. And we keep on repeating that all over our social media, almost like I'm an annoying person. I'm not saying, God damn it. Are you hearing that bing when it comes on or no?
It's not a biggie. It's not.
Yes, we are, but not a big deal.
How can I fucking shut this off? My idiot friend is like, hey, I had sex with this girl. And I'm like, I don't care. Like, I have an interview right here. Be a professional person. You're jack that shit. I'm in Death Valley right now. I don't care. Like, anyway, so okay. The long and short of it is this: all the stuff we did to get to the point actually got us to have traction on Netflix, and we went from number 5 on like the Monday. By the every day we were going up. Like, okay, we're 4 and 4 Tuesday and Wednesday. Then we're like, no. There were 2 on Thursday, which then made me think we could actually have a shot at this, So I was like telling everybody, you got to tell everyone to to like fucking at least this one point in time get us on, and they did, and we got to number 1 on Friday, and I was like and I had my Rocky moment, and I was crying, and I told my wife not to interrupt me for like 3 hours, and I was just like crowing about it as much as I could, like on social media, like fuck you, who didn't believe in us?
Yeah.
So I did all that, and I got it out of my system, and it was good. And then I started thinking about better things, like what's the next movie we're making? We're trying to work that out right now. We're casting it right now. It's focus attention, and then doing sequel work and figuring out some ideas there. And we have a lot of really great ideas. And so yeah, that was the whole thing. That was sort of the rise, and then we got to Sunday we were back to number 5, and then they took us off all their prime placement for until Thursday, and we went to, and then the whole movie went nowhere. Like it's gone, it's gone. Because here's the thing, and there's I take no offense to this, by the way, because this is their model. The thing, the truth of it that everyone needs to know is that their original programming, the original television programming, the original, and that more so than even the movies. But their original television program, the original movies cost a lot more than our shit, right? This little movie that they got for a no budget thing or whatever, and they that's what they promote, right? And so when that stuff isn't, when this little movie came from nowhere, is up on the spot, they want to say like, listen, let's give this a cooling down period of sorts and get our real money makers back on the thing, because that's what drives subscription, and that's what it's ultimately about, actually. And you can't take offense to that because that's their model, right?
Yeah.
But they did put us back up on everything by Thursday, so we were like, I'm just sad we didn't get back into the top 10 again. But you know what? We had our run, and I got to say this, like before the movie Alive and before the Babysitter sequel or whatever came out, I think we had grounds to actually say that we were actually the highest debuting horror movie, period, and we also had the best run for that time before those two movies came out. So I mean, listen, nothing but happiness here, and nothing but happiness to be with our partners on Netflix, and like it's all good. And like, listen, we want to make Netflix originals too, so we shall see, and we want to make a sequel, and we want to make a lot of things. So
there's a message I have from a buddy, real quick, and I'll let Connor go. As you know, all three of us pimped the living shit out of the movie as soon as it hit Netflix. And I had like a ton of friends from high school and coworkers from my old store be like, "Yo, that movie is so good." But my favorite message was from my buddy AJ, and he's like, "Okay, so I gave in and watched that movie, and oh my god, it was really fucking good. There better be a fucking second one because I need more."
There it is. And I've seen the similar sentiment and demand across like social media and Twitter and stuff. It feels like people who see it come out of it going, what's next? What happens next? I'd like to know.
Well, we had some really amazing ideas and something that's going to blow your fucking mind. I'm not going to say like, but I am going to say apparently Alien to Aliens.
Oh, I thought you were going to say aliens were showing up. I was like, what?
Yeah, I was like,
no. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying like, Terminator to Terminator 2.
Oh,
if you will. Like how like the first one is a nice little setup, a nice little movie, and then all of a sudden it like gets a bigger sort of, palette to play on or whatever.
Yes.
And I think it's honestly
congrats to like all the success, that amazing run on Netflix, and hopefully I really hope it opens the door to more opportunities, especially at Netflix. And
well, I mean, listen, we're very thank you. We're very pleased with that, but I want to know, how's the Natty Light campaign going?
Failure. You missed the opening. We are now on the war on Natty Light.
I didn't know. They didn't give it to you?
No, they did not.
Fuck Natty Light, right? It's a shitty. Let's be honest. Like, it's a shitty beer. Like,
Natterday is pretty good. It tasted exactly like strawberry lemonade. It's a very delicious drink.
Don't do this, Connor. Don't.
But I will not be drinking it. I poured my last one down the drain.
It's like a girl.
It's
like a hot ex-girlfriend where you're just like, well, we did have good times, and man, it was nice. It was nice pounding that for a while, but like, and I'm not saying I wouldn't go back. If she asked me back, I might say yes.
No, I'm never going back. Fuck Natty
Never.
Light. It's the war on Natty Light. They have 24 hours to respond with a reasoning why they passed me up.
Well, I'm sorry about that. I knew you were putting your heart into that, and I saw
I really
that
did.
from afar.
I put my heart
I
and
mean-
my gut into it.
And your liver, you put your liver into it. Frankly, like you've literally compromised your liver for your life now because of fucking Natty Light. I mean, listen, at least you should have gone for a nice Belgian beer and had like something good tasting or something. I mean,
Yeah.
like, I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, listen. I know everyone has a dream. I know everyone has a dream, but I know that like, one day your dream will be fulfilled in a different way, and you just don't know
Yeah,
what that is yet, right?
Yeah.
It's going to happen. But listen, Matt. Anything else? Should we get to this thing, or what are we doing here?
Well,
Let's
I
absolutely-
do have one more question because I don't know if you know, but Connor has a new show.
Oh
No,
my god.
I did not know.
Oh no.
So he's got a new podcast we're dropping on this network called Really Drunk.
Oh, well, that might be happen. That might happen at the end of this. I mean, you can just clip it and just move it over there. It's gonna. I've already been on like an hour, almost 2-hour podcast before, where I only had like 5 minutes to eat a fucking noodle, whatever, and that's not going to cover up for the alcohol I drank thus far. So let's just see where we go with this.
I was just gonna say, is it possible we can get you on for a future episode of that? Because that's a show where you guys can shoot the shit on anything. And that's
I
pretty
mean, probably, but like, let's just see where this goes tonight. I don't know how much I'm going to embarrass myself tonight, and I got to kind of be better about this. I think I don't know. It's like I love getting drunk with you guys. Don't get me wrong.
Luckily for you, that one's pre-recorded also. So,
all right, well, we can cut out. All right,
Cut out the juicy bits.
I mean, the non-juicy bits that are blackmail for later.
Exactly.
Without further ado, let's get started on our list of 31 new horror films to watch every day this month.
And here's what I would say we should do. We should just each do one, and then do a go back, and we could just do
like a snake.
Yeah, just a roundabout like thing where we each do one, and then we go through our list that way. I think so that will be entertaining. I think than hearing one person talk about their bullshit.
Right, and I'll say it again. Yeah, we're talking 31 new release horror movies that you can watch all month of October. I mean, what more could you ask for? That's what people are looking
No
for.
specific order.
And by the way, I just think that this actually, talk about like, a window closing and a door closing and a window opening or whatever. I really feel like you should send this thing to Shudder because there's so much fucking Shudder shit on this whatever.
Seriously.
They should just be sponsoring you just cause or whatever. But
we talked about that before. We plugged no other.
Alok, tomorrow we need to tell Alok what we're doing tomorrow.
Yeah, we kind of do.
We're doing a watch along here on the show, which where we're like we queue up a copy of the movie and like people at home can queue it up and we like watch it together. It's like an interactive commentary kind of thing. We're watching Veronica on Shudder.
Oh wow!
Have you seen Veronica?
I tried to start watching it, and it's actually exactly what you should do for that movie because it is almost unwatchable to the point that you're like, wow, Glenn Danzig, you were just erasing all the coolness that I ever gave you in my life because you are a horrible filmmaker. And like, yeah, I could, I don't know. I got. Let's see. I can't promise anything, but I am interested in if anyone's listening to, of course they're listening to this, but I mean, you should be interested in participating in this thing because it's such a fucking piece of shit. Even for the first 30 minutes I watch it through, that you're just going to be like, this is a godsend. Everyone says actually when it first came out, they tried to basically like pivot it into being like, oh well, we meant it to be this bad, and it's like the Rocky Horror movies, but a new Rocky Horror or a new Room. And when people are trying to pivot to the Room, you're just like, holy shit, this is fucking terrible, right? So yeah, I think that you're not in a bad space to want to do a show for that one for sure, an interactive show if anything.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And also, just to let me know, we are still doing our Cats watch along on October 10th. Alok, in case you're interested, I know you're a big Cats guy. And you can eat whatever you want before we start.
You'll get the notifications for all the watch-alongs we're doing all month long. I think we have 5 of them.
Well, hold on. What happened to the Twilight watch?
November.
We're still doing that.
Oh, okay. So
November 21st.
So when is the Cats one?
October 10th.
Oh shit.
Oh, there's the graphic. It's just
right.
materialized.
All right, listen, I can't promise anything, but that is very tempting. I mean, and I can tell you this. I mean, are we? Hold on, we're not watch. We're just watching along and just
Hold
typing.
on. Oh, look, that is
Yes.
also for my birthday.
All right. So listen,
Birthday pressure.
Here's the thing. Birthday pressure aside, like, but is it a thing where they're not videotaping us watching it, or it's just we're watching it and we're
watching it in live stream.
We're doing this.
Actually.
We're doing this.
We're doing this with while watching.
So like
Wait,
you would
wait.
have
Wait,
you would have the movie
hold
on a
on.
different.
Is it
screen.
what channel is it on? What streaming thing is it on? Or either like
HBO is what it's going to be on.
it's already on HBO.
It goes on HBO that day.
Oh.
All right. Listen, I'm not going to tell anything. I got to think long and hard about this, but I can tell you this: Naomi Grossman,
Yeah.
she fucking loves her some cats.
Hey, you can
And
tell
I'm not-
Chris's face also because he's going to be on.
Okay. All right. Well, all right. I need to get through this list.
We'll get to the list. We'll get to the list.
I've already been drinking tonight. I need to get through this, and I need to, get to put my baby to fucking bed or some shit.
Yeah,
Or whatever.
yeah. Well, we'll get to the list because we don't have to negotiate this stuff live on the air. We can definitely do that at another time.
All right. We'll figure it out.
Because it's got to be said. Last time you were on here, we did do the longest show we'd ever done before, and we actually we beat that record last week accidentally. Just so you know.
But with who?
Nobody. It was just us.
Well, look, I mean, it happens. Champs got to go out sometime. It's just like,
Well, we'll see. We got 31 movies to talk about.
All right.
All right. I don't think we want to go 4 hours.
I think you should go first. I think Taylor should go first. You go first, Taylor.
All right. Yeah. Well, I'll go first, and we're talking about watch-alongs, so it's a good way to start because we're watching this later in the month. Invisible Man came out earlier in the year. Great Blumhouse restyle of the classic Universal film. That's already hit HBO Max. We are doing a watch along on that October 24th. So if you haven't seen it already, maybe save that for the 24th. You can watch it along with us, friends. But I loved this movie. I loved Invisible Man.
Yeah.
When they first announced this with like all the Dark Universe stuff, I was like, this sounds horrid. This is going to be a train wreck. They found such a cool, modern, interesting, suspenseful spin on that story. And Invisible Man's kind of like a goofy in comparison to Dracula and Wolfman and Black Lagoon. Invisible Man's not one people really remember with a lot of reverence, I feel. So love what they did with it.
They do a great job. I saw a screening of it at the Egyptian Theater with Lin Wanell giving a talk afterwards, and it was fucking great. He's very smart, obviously, from having been in Saw and done fucking Upgrade is fucking magical. If you've never seen fucking Upgrade, you can just fucking watch that movie. And he, he was so fucking witty and funny and just down to earth and, just didn't give a shit about anything and just made a great movie. In fact, I would say it's definitely in my top 5 of the year thus far. Just FYI.
I would agree as well. I mean, especially with the weird release calendar we now have, which is non-existent. This will definitely end up being one of my favorite movies of the year by the time this is all said.
Absolutely.
Really loved Invisible Man, and looking forward to watching it again on this channel later in the month. It's gonna be awesome.
Let's do it, Connor. What's your next movie?
The Wretched on Hulu.
It's got The Wretched. Boom.
This was one of the first movies I watched in quarantine. And it is such a creepy, fun, almost Fright Night type-esque movies. The kid next door swears there's, a witch next door, basically consuming people almost, and nobody believes him. It's got such a cool twist to it, some good scares. I think the creature design is really creepy and effective. Not only is it genuinely creepy and scary, I think it's just a lot of fun. Such a fun movie, like a throwback horror almost. It's on Hulu, so A lot of people have Hulu. Definitely check it out. It's so much fun.
I mean, did so good, so well with the drive-in theaters and so
Yes.
forth.
Yeah, I
Like,
also
you
saw it
know,
at the drive-in. I've seen the movie like 4 times. It's just so much fun.
Yeah, and the brothers Pierce, who we met at Fantasia, where it premiered, are very lovely people, very down-to-earth people, and they're doing stuff with Ghost House, Sam Raimi's company, next. That's what I know of them, but they're lovely people. So I have a question. Every time I mention a movie, is it in the sequence that we agreed upon? Like in terms of like we had numbers, like when I sent you stuff back and forth, Taylor. Are they Matt going to put up stuff based off of that, or can I just name a movie and he'll find it and put it up or whatever? Or how does it work?
I'm the one throwing up the graphics. You do whatever feels right to you.
Okay, because I wanted to start from the bottom of my list, sort of, because I have no there is no sort of order to this. This is just like movies I think are cool. But I just I felt like I wanted to talk about something in a certain order. So I'm going to start with Homewrecker. And Homewrecker is it's one of the funniest, weirdest black almost comedies, but get serious in recent memory. It's almost like a play the way it unfolds. The lady who's one of the actresses in it also directed it. I don't remember her name. Don't quote me on anything, but she does such a great job of like kind of making this movie that is, you know, a contained sort of atmosphere kind of place, kind of a thriller of black comedy really. And when you think it's one thing, it turns into something else. And it is troubling and amazing. It's worth checking out. I think it's on VOD. I don't know where it's at, actually. I think it's just on VOD, or maybe it's like figuring out it's streaming home. This happens a lot to films. You know, they have to wait a couple months to figure out where it's going to end up and so forth, and they're waiting for an overall deal or something like that. But not to be missed. Really a fun film. And you know, if you would include it in your horror movies of your list of horror movies for 2020, I think it's very apropos because we are all trapped in our house right now. And it all happens in one house. So that is my thoughts on that movie.
Like you talk about being trapped in one house. What a great segue to the next movie on my list, which is The Lodge. That's streaming now on Hulu. We talked about this on one of the I think maybe the second ever episode of this show.
Yeah.
We reviewed The Lodge. It's definitely been a polarizing movie as far as like reception and critical response. It seems like one of those people love it or they hate it type movies. Personally, I really enjoyed it. It is a very dire movie. It's not fun. It's not a fun movie. It's not an A24 movie, but it feels kind of in the vein of like that A24 Ari Aster type thing. Very psychological. It's coming from the pair who directed Goodnight Mommy, which was also a very weird, dark, bummer, psychological thriller / horror movie.
Real quick, Goodnight Mommy is one of the first movies we watched together.
You and I?
Yes. It was at your house.
Were you guys holding hands?
I don't believe so. But we watched Goodnight Mommy and then some weird like 80s like
we watched From Beyond. I remember this now. We watched From Beyond, which is based off an old Lovecraft story. Yeah, good times. Shit, man. Yeah. I used to have so many people over to watch horror movies. I like forget who all was there. That's wild. We must have like just met each other.
Yep.
That's so cute.
And I know you weren't drinking Natty Light because fuck Natty Light. I mean, just saying, whatever. Sorry, go ahead. I don't want to distract. Go.
Lodge is good, man. I liked it.
Yeah,
I think it's worth checking out. I don't know that it's like a spooky movie. You know, some people look for spooky movies this time of year. This one's definitely very psychological. Kind of Shining-esque, you know, about
very disheartening.
Yeah.
Like, I felt very troubled while watching it.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it's just a spiral into darkness. Like it goes from one place, like this woman's trying to be hopeful, and Alicia Silverstone showing up for no reason in an amazing sort of part, right? Like is also nice
with a crazy what the fuck moment.
Yeah. So
pulls a very kind of Hitchcock thing of like, here's one of the biggest stars of the movie, and she's not in much of it after like the first 10 minutes.
Or a Drew Barrymore for Scream, a la kind of thing.
Yeah.
And in that scene, I remember being like, okay, I have no idea what ride this movie's going on. But from that point on, I was in full suspense, trying to figure out what was going on in the movie, and then it went a different direction. And I liked it a lot. If you're into more psychological stuff, I enjoy The Lodge, and that is streaming on Hulu, so I would definitely suggest checking that out. That sounds like kind of your vibe. What you got, Connor?
The Shed on Shudder. Also one of those fun like throwback horrors. It's about like a vampire pretty much. Gets trapped in this kid's shed and wreaks havoc. It's a lot of fun. I thought it was going to be very bad at the beginning because it opens up on this dream sequence and it's very corny and cheesy. And I was like, oh God, this is going to be rough. But then it turns out that's a dream. And then everything after that is so good and so much fun. I loved it. It's on Shudder. And if you don't have Shudder, 7 days free. After that, it's very cheap to have a subscription. So get it. Watch the Shed. It's a lot of fun. It's a good spooky tale about a kid trying to survive, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, I met the director, Frank Zabatella, if I'm saying that right, I think. He's a super nice guy at Brooklyn Horror Fest, which this month, by the way, I don't know if you guys are pressing any of this stuff, but there is literally a Voltron-esque horror festival coming together of just like Brooklyn Horror Fest, Overlook, I want to say Boston Underground, and then I feel if I'm forgetting something, someone's going to shoot me, but North Bend, and I want to say one other, but these guys have put together an amazing program that's like $100. You get to see a ton of shit, and you get to be social with horror people and whatever else. It may be worth your time, but Frank, I met at that place, and I thought his movie was fun. I didn't actually get to see it until actually I paid for it on Apple iTunes. It was 99 cents. I was money grubbing producer. I can rent this for cheap, but it just happened. I hadn't had time to see it at the different festivals we played together because like we were always playing different days, and so that's the truth of it. But he's a super nice guy, and just a very nice guy. That's what I'd tell you.
Yeah, it is a really fun movie
for sure.
It's akin to The Wretched, where it's just a lot of fun. It's about this teenage kid, and this vampire is trapped in his shed, and crazy shit happens. So definitely check it out.
All right. So my movie next is on Shudder. I mean, I feel like we're doing a fucking commercial for Shudder here. I'm going to say it again. This should be a video you record and send to them and say,
Yeah.
Impetigorio. It is an Indonesian film. It's from the same director as Satan's Slaves. Although Satan's Slaves was a remake, I will say that too. Joke Anwar, I want to say Joka Anwar, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. I mean, he does a great job of combining sort of Western horror tropes with like elements of the Indonesian culture. They have like sort of a black magic thing going on with them, and it really starts off with a bang, and you're like, holy shit, like this is fucking nuts, and then slows it all down, and then slowly ratchets up the tension and like the horror and where the story is going and the reveals and and it really fucked up. And I'm not gonna say much about it other than that. Just you should watch it. It's on Shudder. If you're paying for Shudder, god damn it, just watch it. I know it has subtitles. Be elevated. Like just fucking watch it. Don't get off your computer. You have to like just literally get it your full attention because it has subtitles, and that's sad. Yeah. People can't do that, but that's what you have to do. So that's my thoughts. Next,
get a Shudder. Next up, man, I never heard of this movie before. What's this one called? 1BR. Man, I never talked about this on the show before. 1BR. Look, and we aren't always talking about it just because we happen to be friends with the producer of it. This movie fucking rules, man. I would be praising it even if we weren't we didn't have the pleasure of getting to know alone, and Naomi Grossman for that matter. But look, 1BR, it's been killing the Netflix charts. That's where you can watch it right now. So easily accessible. Netflix, if you haven't gotten around to watching this thing already. If you tune into our show and you haven't watched 1BR by now, I don't know what's going on. Unless you're Chris Lopez, because we know he's a scaredy cat. Can't step up to the plate.
It's not that scary though. That's the thing. We keep on talking about this, and this guy just gotta he's got to badge up. He's got to badge up. Like that's all I'm telling you. You tell him I told him to badge up. All right, and we'll go from there. But
I'll be honest, I was pretty puckered up while watching it.
It's not that scary.
It's not scary.
All right.
Very
Hey,
tense.
Taylor, we have to move this along because I am getting drunker and drunker as we speak, and I just want to get through my shit. Like I want to tell you, I've written a little bit of shit for each one. I just want to for the trouble I took to do it and watch it. So I watch like 3 things a fucking day just to fucking catch up in this and that. I know you didn't, Connor, you son of a bitch, you Nat Light drinking son of a bitch. I'm just saying, like let's just get through.
Let's just get through it. All right. I mean, I don't know any other version of you than the one that's rapidly getting drunk on the show. So you're sticking to expectation.
Next up, we got we have Host on Shudder. Once again, a Shudder plug. A seance gone wrong on Zoom. It's only an hour long, so it's a quick watch. Very scary. Definitely check it out. Took the whole world by storm pretty much. It was on Good Morning America, all this stuff.
Yeah.
The writer and director have a bunch of shit lined up. Really scary hour of just crazy shit. So definitely check it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not enough in the chat. The people love 1BR low. It's just gotta be so.
Oh, so nice. Thank you. I appreciate that. The platform, it's on Netflix, right? So this movie is if a Twilight Zone Black Mirror episode fucked the movie Cube, and this is their baby. It's an interesting commentary on society. It's pretty perfect except for the end. I can't give you too many details of it because it does give away too much, but there is a whole sort of food aspect of it, and there's a platform that has all this food on it. It's going up and down all these levels. And that's all I'm going to say. Because it is an interesting film, and it's an interesting commentary on just like extrapolating it to society and the haves and have-nots. And that is all I will tell you. But it's on Netflix, very easy to see, and they made it even for you people who just can't put down your fucking little devices. Quote from 1BR. It's a thing where you can actually it's actually not subtitled. It's actually it's dubbed. It's dubbed.
Oh, really?
So
they did a dub version.
Yeah, it's just dubbed is never as good as a subtitle. Let's be honest, because the stuff they record is not the same stuff that actually gets translated into the dubbed version. But the dub version is not terrible, and I watched it so in dubbing or whatever, and I was like, all right, I could see this again and being subtitled, but I feel like I got what I needed, being dubbed. So highly recommended.
Right on. Platform. It's been a big movie this year too. I feel when it hit pretty big. Yeah. Next up, I got one, and I love this one, man. What a crazy wild ride! Color Out of Space. Talk about Lovecraft Country. This is based on an old Lovecraft story, but it's got my main man Nicolas Cage in the starring role, just at his utmost unhinged, man. And I'm not talking Russell Crowe. This thing's streaming on Shudder, as if we weren't singing its praises enough, and we're not done singing its praises. Color Out of Space has some of the best monster stuff I've seen this year. It's got some of the best body horror stuff I've seen this year. And really, there's something to be said when you have a director or a film that knows, hey, we've got Nicolas Cage on this. Let's really utilize him and let him go fucking bananas. And this thing really does. They know what they got.
There's 2 points in that movie that I texted you and I was like freaking out about it. It was the alpaca talk, and then there was the mother-son fusion body horror.
Yeah, there's some really like existentially scary stuff in it. There's some just base level, like that's gross and freaky scary type stuff in it. And yeah, it's got Nick Cage screaming and going nuts. And I will show up for that no matter what the context is.
Fantastic movie.
Yeah, I love The Color Out of Space. And it can be tough to do the Lovecraft stuff, but I think they nailed it. I think that the director wants to do more following up to this. So hell yeah, I hope he gets to.
So Richard Stanley is the director.
Yeah.
Is a really interesting cat because he's fucking out of
Yes.
his fucking mind.
I watched the documentary on him with
Island of Dr. Moreau. Well, here's the thing from my point of view, when we were testing the movie, it's very rare that a studio does this, but they came and gave us they gave us a picture. They brought it to the actual screening when we were testing it. And they were like, all right, here's this dude. He's fucking nuts. He's the director we kicked off of the picture. And when he got kicked off of the picture, he went and lived in the woods and would come back and reoccur as a extra and shit, right? He's fucking nuts, right? But they were scared he'd come to the test screening. Like he'd fly himself out to LA and gave us there's pictures of him in different disguises. And then one of them was he looked like a cat. And I was like, what's this one about? Just don't ask. Just if you see anybody who looks like this, just alert us because we have extra security here tonight. And I was like, wow, this is some fucked up shit. So this guy's a crazy person, right? But he finally gets his shot to sort of kind of direct something big again. I mean, I think he's maybe done some stuff I don't know before, but I don't think so. But listen, he got a shot to direct something again. And he fucking brought it, and it was great. It's like a fucking great body horror thing, as you say. It's different things, and the act is good. Everyone's cast is great in it. The production design is fantastic. For this film, that should be a model of what you can do on a budget, and just you try to go batshit crazy with it. I don't know how much the movie was, to be honest. I've always had that question in my head, but I don't know. Fantastic film, top 5 for me for this year. I can tell you thus far. I mean, none of you have seen Saint Maud yet, so
I want to.
Well, it's coming out. It's coming out in England in 23 days or something. But hopefully they're going to bring it out probably next year here. Anyway, long and short of it, you have to wait for it. But just wait. If it comes out this year, your top, whatever, might be different. That's all I have to say about that.
I'll pray for it. Hopefully we get to see it. What you got next, Top Goblin?
I've got Dead Dicks, which came from suggestion from Alok. Checked it out. Wow. I love this movie. I think it's super interesting. I love the commentary on mental illness and struggles with that, and kind of wanting to kind of be a different person that isn't based on that. I thought it was a very powerful film. So thank you for suggesting that.
Yeah.
Because I probably would have never heard of this or watched it otherwise. So definitely check out this movie. It's on VOD. It is 100% worth a watch. It's about a guy who, if he dies, another version of him is reborn and comes out of this
strange slimy hole in the wall.
Yeah, in the wall, and basically he can't die. It's crazy. It's so good. Smart, really beautiful commentary. Like I said, so definitely check it out on VOD. I think I only paid $3 for it to own. So just spare $3 and check it out.
I would tell you this. So the filmmakers, they are Chris Bavoda and Lee Paula Springer, are a married couple. They're a writing director duo.
Wow.
How weird is that? You have to live your life, and they got 2 kids, and they're very cute and everything. And they live with that, and then you get to go direct a movie together, and you're just like, fuck you, no, fuck you. It's but they don't do that. They're actually totally together. They do what they do. And then I became friends with a guy that's the lead actor of it, Heston Horwin. Am I saying this right? Heston Horwin. He's such a sweet guy, a talented guy. He was in Rocksteady Row, if you ever saw that. It came out of Slam Dance, a really cool post-apocalyptic fraternity sorority movie, if you can imagine. But Heston's amazing. He is gonna do stuff. I can tell you this. And
yeah, he was powerful in it.
Oh, completely. So we actually all 3 got together when we were at Other Worlds and went to the world famous barbecue place in Austin, Texas, Franklin's. And I made them. I knew what you needed to do. You need to get up fucking super early. We were second in line, getting there at 5 o'clock in the morning. and we were, you start drinking, because you find a gas station. It's Texas. Beers are there, and actually, it was a really nice beer place that we got really good beers at. And anyway, we're drinking at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's actually cold at that time of the year because it was I think March still or February, and we're ready for barbecue by the time we were drunk enough to have it. You get there at 5 o'clock, get the food at 11:30. So you've been drinking the entire time, and it's a kind of circus atmosphere, that entire line of barbecue. But long and short, though, is that these guys made a movie that's a movie about mental health.
Yeah.
But so interesting. You think about horror, it's always mental health. It's that guy's crazy. He was in an asylum and now he's murdering people. And it's no, this guy's just fucking depressed and he wants to kill himself. And his sister's trying to help and trying to, manage a person who has mental illness in the family. And you never see films like that. And these guys have even cooler ideas. They're going to be shooting some interesting stuff, I think, next year. I can't talk about, blah, blah, blah. But these are the couple writer-director duo to keep an eye on. And also Heston, of course. That's all I got to say about that.
I just want to say real quickly, it is a well done and thoughtful way to have a commentary on mental illness. I definitely related to it a lot because there's a line in it that relates to it. It's something like you can't kill who you are, but you can try to be a better person or something like that. And it's really relatable. And I just thought it was a beautiful film. So we can move on.
For sure.
Cool. I did Impetigoar already, right? So that's done. Okay, Honeymoon Phase. The Honeymoon Phase, directed by Philip Carroll and also starring his wife, who you see right there in the picture, Chloe Carroll. Husband and wife, director, actress duo. Hello.
Wow.
Interesting, right? Also VOD right now. Just opened in the UK, I think, yesterday or something like that. So you can find that there too as well. Terrific sci-fi horror kind of thing. It is done on a budget, but really thought out. Transparency, they're also on Dark Sky, who's releasing us. So I want to put that out there. So I'm not licking one's ass, but I'll tell you what, I actually didn't. We basically met each other at a festival first. We were at Other Worlds in Texas, where Dead Dicks. We just did the story about them eating the Texas barbecue. They didn't come with us. They should have. They just couldn't get up early enough. So fuck them. They didn't get the barbecue. But the amazing duo, those two. And it's killing it all over the place. It's wherever it can be reviewed, it is well reviewed, and I would highly recommend it. If you want a little Black Mirror mixed with your sci-fi horror, I'd call it. So that's my point on that. Like Forrest Gump said, that's all I got to say about that.
Well, next up, I got one. It got a pretty. I don't know if it got a big release, but it got a lot of attention. That is The Hunt, coming from Blumhouse. This was kind of one of those weird ones where it was right on the cusp of us entering the pandemic and everything being awful and movies not coming out. This was one that I got to see on that premium VOD thing. This got a lot of attention because it personally angered the president, and it apparently delayed the release of it even further and said it was inciting panic and chaos and violence. Do I think it warrants that much controversy? No, but I always think it's pretty fucking sweet. I mean, pretty punk rock to have your film upset the president. That's always going to be true. So I thought that was a pretty cool element. And I think it knows what it is. It's kind of campy. It's kind of over the top. It's very violent. Kind of has a battle royale type feel to it about this group of people who are being kidnapped and taken from their homes and unleashed in this random plot of land.
Anything that upsets the president is worth watching.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to agree. Jessica loved The Hunt. We watched that one together. I thought it was a lot of fun. Does it warrant all the conversally? Probably not, but what really could? I don't think this movie is corrupting the minds and hearts of America.
Yeah. I anticipating something that would be very polar, not polarizing, but something very crazy and out there. And when I watched it, I was I don't know why everybody was so pissed off about this movie.
Yeah,
Because
Matt, you warped in.
Yeah, I actually, this is the last movie I had to review before we went into quarantine. So this one's such a I don't like this movie at all. I'm not gonna front. And honestly,
Thanks for chiming in.
and honestly, if the president actually knew any damn thing about this movie, he'd probably love this movie because it's about the right killing the left and all that bullshit. So hey, fuck it, The Hunt, piece of shit.
Well, I certainly wouldn't say that, and that was a weird
No.
energy to come in on our segment with. But thank you, producer Matt.
Don't listen to Matt. Check out The Hunt.
I'll be honest. I didn't see The Hunt. I was waiting for it to come down to 99 cents because I was like, I don't want to pay $20 for this fucking movie.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not that high anymore. I'm sure.
No, I know. I have such a long list of things I need to say that I'm just trying to I've got a baby and shit and trying to figure stuff out, and so it's just it's a luxury sometimes when you get the chance. And today I just set up myself for some interesting stuff, and going to get to that. Connor, what's your next thing?
All right, my next one is, let me pull up my list. Come to Daddy. Wow.
Oh, love it.
Oh my God, is this movie insane? You got Elijah Wood with a pretty cool fucking haircut, and a sweet mustache. He gets a call from his dad, and person who we think is his dad.
Well, don't spoil it.
Yeah, I won't spoil it. It's really hard to explain what this movie is. It's just about a guy who comes back home to try to reconcile his relationship with his estranged father, and a bunch of crazy shit happens. Some good kills. It is so cool.
I mean, good kills and amazing injuries, and
yeah.
And what's even the funniest part of the movie is just him being like that millennial douchebag who's like, oh my gosh, like Elton John and I, like he's
the whole
he's an ally and da da da.
And there's this really gross scene with a screwdriver going into a exposed brain that is just makes it worth watching. It's on Amazon Prime. So if you have Amazon, go ahead and stream this. It is insane.
Well worth your time. And it's gonna be disturbing. It almost has like a pulp fiction element to it, and the way that unfolds is really kind of clever and disturbing. Mm-hmm. And it's absolutely a Halloween movie, even despite the fact you might not think it is. It is.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm gonna do the next one for me. Fucking the commercial for Shudder that never ends. And we love you, Shudder. La Llorona. Not to be confused with the Blumhouse version that was such a piece of shit. There's another version of this movie, the same title, I want to say. Yeah. That's just such a piece of shit. Like it's like a 1% on like Rotten Tomatoes or something. I don't know what the fuck. But this one is like, 90 plus. And what it is, it's a Guatemalan film, which is interesting in its own right. And it's about this sort of disgraced politician who is like hiding in his house and with his family. And it's kind of because of his political sins that will be revisited on his family, let's call it, that horrible things start to happen to their family. I could tell you further about it, but I think it's actually more interesting the way it unfolds for you to for it to be more mysterious and so forth. You should definitely check it out. There's a reason it's 90+%. It's not Rotten Tomatoes isn't always accurate. Let me just be honest too.
Yeah,
there's some stuff you're just like head scratching. Like I literally sat next to one of the directors of one of these movies that I think you're going to review probably later, and I won't say which one. And I was trying not to fall fucking asleep at one of the festivals, and I'd gone to lunch with this guy and gotten drunk with this guy, and I was like, "This movie sucks." Like, so, anyway, these are some things on Rotten Tomatoes that are highly recommended, and you're like, "I don't understand how this is," and this is not one of those. This is highly recommended. It actually is a great film. You should definitely see it on Shudder.
Yeah, and a real quick plug for Shudder. The catalog is so amazing that I have such a long my list that I'm trying to get through, and La Llorona is on there. I'm trying to get through all these movies, even like back catalog to like the 70s. They have such a huge catalog. Get Shudder. Taylor, what's your next one?
Well, it is one we've discussed on the show before, and it's worth mentioning again because I don't think it got too much attention, at least that I noticed, is a movie called Sea Fever. Man, I love the idea of like this oceanic horror because I think the ocean is so inherently strange and mysterious and scary. And this is a movie, if you guys haven't heard that episode, this is a movie about a crew on a ship at sea who are basically under siege by some sort of parasitic organism that's getting into their body. It's turning them against each other. They're trying to figure it out, and they just can't seem to do it soon enough to stay alive. It is a really great, like, paranoia thriller. It does kind of, I mean, everything that deals with the ocean sort of inherently dips into the Lovecraftian thing. This definitely does as well, where it has like this antagonistic organism that you don't really understand or has never been seen before, and you don't really know what the rules of it are. And also kind of prescient, because the big dilemma they get is like, well, we could turn this ship around and go back to the mainland and figure this out and get better. But the other argument is like, no, we can't do that because we could spread whatever's happening to us. This parasite could latch on the other people, and a lot of people could get sick, and a lot of people could die. And we watched this for the first time in mid-pandemic or in the pandemic, so it was like, wow, this feels real relevant. And seeing that relevancy realized was really only drove home how scary and not so out of the realm of realism it was. I thought it was cool, and I just love anything that takes place in the ocean horror wise. We double featured this with the Beach House, which we don't have on the list today, but if you like scary stuff in the water, I'd also recommend Beach House. But Sea Fever I thought was really cool and perhaps underrated because I just haven't seen a lot of people talking about it.
That's on Hulu, right?
Yes, and Sea Fever is streaming on Hulu right now, so if you got that account, you can fire that up right away.
I hate to say it, but I did not like Beach House, but I'm not going to say any other thing than that.
Beach House on Shudder?
Sorry, yo. That's the one thing I didn't like. Just saying. I actually saw it at Chattanooga, the virtual festival, and I was like, Anyway, I don't want to like talk shit. Only positivity. You're a great film, Beach House. You're the best. Go. Next.
The next one I have is Becky on VOD. Kevin James plays a neo-Nazi who gets out of prison with a couple other Nazis, and takes basically based around this little girl Becky and her family. They go to this cabin in the woods, and there's a strange key that Kevin James is neo-Nazi is looking for. And basically terrorizes this family. Becky fights back. Incredibly violent and gory. Such a good film. So much fun. It's on VOD. It's just a fun watch. You're rooting for Becky, and she's not alone. She has a couple pit bulls that are helping her out. So it's a lot of fun. Check it out. VOD. Becky.
How was Kevin James in it?
Incredible. You're so used to seeing him in these Adam Sandler films just playing like a chubby schmuck. In this movie, he is genuinely terrifying. His stature and his presence is just terrifying the moment he shows up on screen. So he's so good in it. I hope to see him in more like thrillers and playing more villains because he's just so fucking good. But it's probably going to be a while because he's next seen in Hoobie Halloween.
Hoopy Halloween, which we're doing an episode on this show for Halloween. We're doing Hoopy Halloween,
which I'll never watch in my life.
No.
I don't know. I don't know if I can bring myself to do it. I have so much other good shit I want to watch, like in comparison, like that. Like my lifetime is like, okay, well, I got like this much time in my life. All right. So is it my turn?
Yeah.
All
right. So did I talk about the movie Hosts yet? The
plural hosts.
Hosts. Yeah. More than one.
So Hosts is an amazing film by these two, again, duo directors, but not married and not having sex with each other or anything like that. Richard Oakes and Adam Leader out of the UK. And truthfully, to transparency, they are also Dark Sky, but I did not know them when they were Dark Sky, much as the honeymoon phase. They have delivered, and we'll tell you, it's coming out tomorrow on VOD in the States, actually, finally. But I saw it a couple months ago. And when I saw it, I was like, holy shit. Like, this is fucking real. Like, it's one of the most ferocious horror movies of the year.
Really?
If you are not, if you do not have a good stomach or consistency for violence, and I would say, as our friend from Stanley Kubrick would call it, ultra violence, I would not watch this film. If you do, though, on the other hand, there is one scene that's going to be iconic. I will tell you this, and you'll just see it when you see it. I don't want to say anything more than that, but it's illy named, sadly, as far as host versus host. Totally different movies, obviously. Yeah, I mean, just go see it. I don't want to say more than that because I think I've given away too much already. Next.
There you go. That's tomorrow. I haven't seen it, of course, obviously, so I'm looking forward to checking that out.
VOD tomorrow. Buy it on iTunes so they can see how they're doing on the charts. It's the same price everywhere, obviously, but I always tell people, if you're choosing to buy something somewhere and you can, you want to, or if it works out with your setup or whatever, your whole Roku or whatever the fuck it is, just get it on iTunes, because at least it gives the filmmaker an idea of how they're doing on the charts, how they're doing. It's updated consistently is the idea. So anyway,
there you go. That's the movie I'm going to watch this October. We got it. Next up, so another one we've talked about on the show before, and I made my reverence for it now and then, is a film called Relic. Another one of these kind of weird ones, right, where like some people love it, some people hate it. It's kind of polarizing in that way. I dug this movie a lot. This is totally up my alley. Again, another kind of psychological horror movie. This one really dealing with the concept and the fear of dementia and losing one's mind and losing one's memories. About a mother and daughter who go to stay with a grandmother who's losing her memories, who's losing her sense of self. And she has these delusions, at least they think they are delusions, of people that talk to her in places that she goes. And she goes missing for a period of time and then just returns covered in dirt and leaves and stuff, and no one knows where she's been or what she was doing. And as the film progresses, the question becomes whether grandma's having delusions or is something unexplainable and supernatural and terrifying actually happening in their home. I dug this one a lot. It's a slow burn. It's definitely a slow paced movie. It's not like a jump scary type horror movie. It's definitely one that takes its time and is more conceptual than it is just about delivering scares. Again, if that's not your thing, totally get it. But I can get into a movie like this, and I definitely did. And I think it pays off in a pretty satisfying way in the last couple minutes. So if you like something a little slower, a little more methodically paced, I recommend Relic. That one's not streaming anywhere. That one's VOD, but I'm sure you can grab it for a couple bucks by now.
I can tell you specifically $4.99 because I grabbed it today. I don't want to talk shit on people, but I wasn't a fan. I'll say this: it takes a long time to get there, and then once it gets there, the last 30 minutes, okay, it's decent, but it's not. I don't know. It's not. There's not much of an explanation necessarily, and so okay, whatever. But it's directed by a nice lady director and stuff like that, and we all have to support our lady directors because we don't have as many horror lady directors out there and stuff like that. And I can't wait to see what she does next, actually, because she did this on a budget. It's an Australian film, and it's a thing where people have shown some love to it. I don't want to shit on it as much, but for me personally, it didn't resonate with me as much. But Connor, what did you think?
It's one of the few movies that I did not enjoy as much as others on this show. I did enjoy the commentary on it, but it was one of the first episodes where we did not agree totally on a movie.
That's right.
Oh,
So it's one of those notorious episodes. But
I mean, I think those are the best. Those are the best episodes, by the way.
Yeah,
Because, like,
it is a polarizing film, so I would recommend watching it, to see your take on it, because those are sometimes the best films, are those polarizing ones.
well,
So,
sometimes you see something you didn't see. You know what I mean? Like there is an interesting idea of having the whole idea of having to put a parent in, like, care, right? And
yeah,
is she losing her mind, or is it demon possessing her, sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, who knows? But I don't know. I may have to give it another watch, frankly. But
Yeah.
I for what I saw today, I didn't like it. But anyways,
Yeah.
So, are you next, Connor?
yes. My next one is We Summon the Darkness. I saw this at the drive-in paired with The Wretched, and I loved this film. It's on Netflix. It's a lot of fun. You have can't think of her name.
Daddario?
Yeah, Alexis
Yeah.
Daddario,
So hot. So hot.
Alexandria Daddario, something like
Yeah.
that. And Johnny Knoxville playing a preacher.
That's right, Knoxville.
Yeah, it's about these three girls that lure these other guys at like a punk show to their vacation home, and we find out that they are using them as a sacrifice to create satanic panic, and some crazy shit goes on. It is a lot of fun. Very gory and a lot of fun. So definitely check it out. It's on Netflix. Everybody has Netflix. I don't know anybody that doesn't have Netflix. So it's very easy to watch. It is worth it. So much fun. Check it out.
I thought it was good, but not great. I would also tell you that if you come home drunk, none of us can come home drunk from the bar anymore, I guess. But like if I was coming home from the bar, I'd sit down and I'd watch that movie. I would stay awake. I wouldn't pass out. I would stay awake. Yeah. Like that was totally fun. That's what I would totally tell myself, right? Like, so I agree with you in that.
It was definitely a fun experience seeing The Wretched and then this back to back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, listen, The Wretched is a great drive-in movie, isn't it?
Mhm.
Right? Like, it's been proven.
I thought this was better suited for the drive-in than Netflix, but I did watch it again on Netflix, and it's just as much fun.
You know what's missing though is, I mean, there's heavy metal, there's all this good stuff, drug use, We needed like one good sex scene.
Yeah,
It would have been. No, I'm serious. It would have been perfect. It would have been perfect if, like, Alexandria, whatever. I mean, she showed us her boobies before in True Detective, right? And she's like, she's making love to like Woody Harrelson, I want to say, right? Like that was the scene, right?
And Woody Harrelson.
You guys have all like watched that and rewound that scene a couple times.
There's an entire subreddit dedicated to that scene.
Okay, I can see why though, because she is fantastic, and like the letdown of, like, for example, like the Baywatch movie, so you never see those boobies, like those fantastic like warlocks. I want to see those warlocks. Why can't we see those? Like, so anyway, long and short though is that yeah, we talked about it. I'm gonna do my thing now. All right, all right, Monstrum on
Oh my
Shudder.
God.
So Monstrum, okay, think about, okay, this is a Korean film, right? It's on Shudder. Sorry, commercial for Shudder fucking again. I love you, Shudder, but just goddamn, so much good shit you putting out there. I gotta fucking say it again. I literally having to move things up and down to just make sure that this doesn't seem like this is a fucking Shudder commercial.
Yeah.
I'm putting the VOD stuff in between things or whatever else, but it's just like they're just doing great work right now. I gotta tell you. So Monstrum. Think of the movie, our friend who did The Parasite. I can never pronounce his name.
Bong Joon-ho.
Yeah, him. He did a movie called The Host, right?
Mm-hmm.
So think of The Host, and if that movie fucked the anime movie Ninja Scroll, and this is their baby. But it's in feudal Korea, and there's an interesting idea of political intrigue as well, also in the mix, and that's what this movie is. It's fucking fantastic. All the effects are top notch. The creature, sometimes it looks a little cheesy, but it actually looks pretty good most of the thing. And they do a Jaws kind of thing with it, where they kind of keep it, but then they kind of bring it. When they bring it well. So worth your subscription to Shudder to watch this film. And fucking, I'm sorry to get off your little devices to like see the fucking subtitles. It's not like fucking dubbed, but well worth your time. And that's all I have to say about that.
Based on that graphic, I'm watching it.
Trust me, it's interesting, and they have an interesting story. I mean, it's a great story actually. They do a good job of unfolding it. Again, political intrigue involved, and the way it unfolds makes it so interesting. It's not just a creature feature; it's a creature feature with Korean feudal political intrigue.
It's pretty unique in that, right? I love a monster movie, especially when that monster is big. And from that graphic, monster looks big. Love that. Don't see enough of that, especially in like a horror aspect. Next up, what do you think it's streaming on? It's on Shudder. Blood Quantum. And I dug this movie. Again, one we've done an episode on, I dug this movie. Definitely a chip off the old school George Romero block. A zombie movie coming from Jeff Barnaby, who is an Indigenous Canadian director, about a zombie apocalypse, zombie dystopia. Difficult for a movie like that or a story like that to catch my interest these days because it feels like it's been done a million times. So you really got to find that unique angle to make it worth your while. This one I think does. It takes place on a reservation, a film directed by an Indigenous man and then also largely casted by Indigenous people on a reservation where everyone there is immune to whatever sort of zombie virus or apocalypse is occurring. So you have people coming in, these travelers, mostly white travelers coming in and seeking asylum on the reservation, wanting to be let in because that's where they'll find safety. Really a great twist on it. And, I think the idea of social commentary and criticism and philosophizing, I say that right? I'm a little drunk too. Don't worry about it. It's really sinking in right about now. I'm gonna watch Some of the Darkness after this. I think after what you guys said. I thought this was great. I thought it was a unique spin on a zombie story. We talk about representation. I think Native people and Indigenous people is a very underserved demographic and voice in any aspect of film, let alone horror. So I thought Blood Quantum was super good.
Yeah, I agree. And I think we both shared the same sentiments on our last book club. I want to see this filmmaker take on The Only Good Indians. Hopefully there's an option on that book. Hopefully he's able to get attached to it, direct it, because that would be amazing. Yeah.
I thought he did a great job. Great script. Dug this a lot. Streaming on Shudder.
I'm gonna be a little controversial here. I did not like this film. And I'm not going to talk shit on it. I'm just going to say I didn't like it, and there's a lot of reasons I didn't like it. And I will tell you this: it's a thing where I wanted to like it, and I wanted to whatever. But I think it's also one of these Rotten Tomatoes things where it's Indigenous people, and it all of a sudden gets just like this pop for a reason that it doesn't necessarily deserve. And I'll just say that. But I think this. Listen. I think this guy has a future in doing other stuff, hopefully, and I would love to see him do future work. I mean, listen, it's always a thing. It's very subjective, right? Like he could just hate the shit out of my like 1BR movie too, right? Like there's stupid little no budget film. But listen, I always applaud the effort of anything if anyone's trying to do something, and like it really did for me. Like I was so excited to see it. Let's say, right? And I think that other people should just still see it anyways. And listen, who am I to say anything? It's still like I think 89 or 90% Rotten Tomatoes and stuff like that. So I mean, it has it in that aspect. But just personally, wasn't as much a fan. But I just gotta be honest because you expect the real thing from Alok Mishra, you get the real thing from Alok Mishra. So
absolutely,
there you are.
No bullshit.
Connor, what's going on?
Random Acts of Violence on Shudder. Holy shit! Love this movie. I think I was raving about it to Taylor when it premiered because I've been looking forward to this movie for so long, ever since I heard it announced. And Jay Baruchel was attached for a directing role on it and acting, and I believe he wrote it as well. He's pretty much in it. just hands in it everywhere. So good. It's about a comic writer who's writing these comics based on some murders that happened in his hometown, this famous serial killer. And then he goes further from what happened and writes about further murders. And the murders he writes about in these comics end up actually happening and coming to life and recreated. And they start pretty much happening closer and closer to him. Very violent, very gory. The title pretty much says it all, random acts of violence, but there is a story to it, and I thought it was very well done. Good social commentary to it. I know it's very polarizing. Some people are loving it, some people are hating it. I'm in the camp that loves it. I had so much fun with it. Definitely check it out. On Shudder, free week streaming.
There you go.
Cool. All right. I just screwed myself up here a little bit. Matt, have we done VFW yet? No, right?
No, we haven't.
No, I got you.
All right. So VFW, Joe Vegas, who's a fucking genius. This is only on I think VOD right now and some other kind of, I don't know, subscription. I don't understand, but it is an amazing, in the vein of was it Precinct 13 or whatever it was, the John Carpenter movie? Right?
Oh, Assault.
Assault
on Precinct Team.
Like, kind of think about this. Think of a trapped environment, people trying to attack you and the whole thing. And the people they're attacking are a bunch of, like, veterans of foreign wars. Veterans, let's call them. Like Stephen Lang, who's, you know, amazing villain in Avatar and also Don't Breathe. And,
Holy shit.
He's just so good, right?
Yeah.
And then Martin Coe from fucking Cobra Kai, which is amazing, by the way, too. If you haven't seen a Cobra Kai, you got to watch Cobra Kai. And Fred Williamson, who's gotten a little too Me Too'd right now, unfortunately. But apparently he tried to assault Naomi Grossman. Like, he tried to pinch her butt. And one part of you is like, this guy's just old and he doesn't know any better, and he's just fucking old. But there's some part you're like, you shouldn't do that, dude.
I feel like the older people should know better than anybody.
Who was this?
Fred Williamson. He's a football player, such, you know, movie star or whatever. This big black dude. Anyway, he like I said, he's very old right now. And I actually met him when I went to go see actually VFW at the ArcLight in Hollywood and to hear Dear Bagos talk and stuff like that. Joe Bagos talk. And he was there in the audience. I shook his hand. I have a picture with him. And then all the Me Too stuff came out like the day after, and I was like, "Come on, man! He was so good, and he is so good." But you're just like, he's not even like trying to make a defense for it. He's just like, "I have to pinch butts," and you're like, "You can't pinch butts anymore, dude."
Yeah.
Poor makeup girl he assaulted, and like she wanted to quit but didn't quit because, like, you know, and then he assaulted her again. I don't know, whatever.
Jesus.
Go read about it. I don't want to talk about this fucking depressing shit, but I want to talk about VFW. VFW is a great sort of movie, like a, you know, Assault on Precinct 13, that is like a contained atmosphere kind of thriller slash like action movie slash horror movie, because there's so much bloody action that goes on in it, and it is really cool. Like, I mean, all the deaths and everything else you can, you know, kind of figure. I have actually maybe I should just do both of them, because I was going to go. The next movie I was going to actually talk about was Bliss, which is also, if you want to put that up there, also Joe Bagos on Shudder again. You know, whatever. Terrific deconstructed vampire movie. It has sex, it has drugs, it has lots of blood, and it is amazing that Joe Bagos has had 2 movies within this year that have been he's so prolific. I mean, maybe just times out that way, where you have this, like, you know, VFW movie, and you also have Bliss, and holy shit, they're just so well to check out. You're just going to be like exhausted by the end of both of them for the amount of blood and gore and just faces like skulls being destroyed and crushed, and, you know, and blood being sucked out by doing cocaine or some version of like black cocaine or whatever it's called. Like, you know, you're just gonna be exhausted.
Bliss is on my list for Shudder. It's like 4 movies in, so I'll get there.
Dude, just watch it tonight after this discussion.
Okay, I will.
And your mind's just going to be destroyed. You're going to be like, what did I just go through here? I watched it in the theater, and I was mentally and emotionally, I was so exhausted. It is so visually ferocious and attacking you, and with different things and ideas, and just both of those movies. It's a good double feature, but I think that one of them is still on VOD in some other place. Let's say, I think actually what it was is Fangoria had it. And then, the real Me Too that happened to Fangoria, unfortunately.
Right.
There's a lot of Me Too stuff tonight. I'm sorry about that, but but
That's what
Fangoria
it is, man. Good to be honest about this. Stuff,
Fangoria Fangoria has a new buyer that's bought them, and they're going to return hopefully like a phoenix and be better without sexual assault and so forth. Better, bigger than before, let's say. So
yeah.
I packed a lot into that, and I think I've gotten out of 2 of my movies, VFW and Bliss. So sorry I had to go out of turn there, but I feel like it was a nice double feature for Joe Bagos, who's a fucking genius, and I can't wait to see what he does next. Actually, fun story. We were in Fantasia, and he got in our bus with us to go back to the airport, and him and I kept on getting delayed at the airport because Canada Airlines or whatever it's called is a shitty airline and keeps on delaying, and we just got drunk at the bar. And then he happened to be sat right behind me in our airplane seat. So we kept on like talking shit to each other, from the seat behind and stuff like that. So it was a fun memory. Anyway, so God bless Joe Bagos. God bless all the gore he brings. And Connor, watch it tonight.
I will.
Boom.
Hell yeah, man. Well, I'm glad you doubled up because this next one's the last one on my list, man. We've got so many great movies to talk about. I ran out of ones to think of. But this one kind of, again, comes pre-pandemic when movies were allowed to be seen in the theater. Kind of underrated or at least underseen. Gretel and Hansel. I dug this movie, man. This is coming from Oz Perkins, who also did The Black Coat's Daughter, which I dug a lot. As soon as I saw that, I was like, yeah, I'm signed up to see whatever this dude does next. I don't know what he's going to do next. Gretel and Hansel. I mean, obviously from the title, you kind of got an understanding what it's about. It's a riff on the old folklore mythology story, but sort of takes a detour. Narratively, it's all right narratively. It's the old story, 2 kids wander in the woods, they get picked up by a witch, and she's like low-key plotting to bake them into a cake or something. That's still at play here for sure. But the story it tells visually. Man, this is what we talk spooky. This may be the spookiest thing I've seen all year in terms of visuals. I mean, this thing looks amazing. This really does look like some old, Brothers Grimm Gothic story told visually in a movie. The imagery is amazing. And yeah, the story I think takes a back seat to it, which I didn't think was true for Black Coat's Daughter, which I thought was a cool kind of psychological original story. This is an interesting way for him to go as a director, and I wish more people saw it. I think it deserved more love than it got. But again, I think this is a great movie to watch around Halloween time. And if that's what you're into, is sort of the spookier stuff. This is it, man. This is a spooky movie. Is it scary? Debatable. Is it spooky? If we're semantics, if we're saying those are different things, I think this one is as spooky as it gets. I thought it was great. It looks amazing. We're checking out. I'm sure you can get it for a couple of bucks VOD somewhere at this point now. So I recommend it, man. Gretel and Hansel I thought was cool. And again, the same idea. Oz Perkins, I want to see what he does next. I'm still very invested in that guy's directing career.
Cool. Connor, how many more do you have to go? 1 or 2?
I am out of movies to talk
He's
about.
out.
Oh shit! It's just me now. It's just me.
I'm so sorry. My job is killing the fuck out of me.
No. Don't worry. All right. Let me start with this real quick. I'm gonna do 2 to okay.
Yeah, do it.
Hey, Sputnik. I watched this today. Fucking amazing. It's on VOD. It's $6.99 on iTunes or whatever. Totally worth the money. I didn't do this one already, right? I feel
no.
Okay. I was just trying to place. I was just grabbing things and trying to place them in between Shudder shit. That's the truth of it. So I don't want it to be all about Shudder. It just happens to be about Shudder, But one of the best sci-fi creature features I've seen in a while. A really cool mystery, the way it unfolds. A cool Russian film. There's been a couple different amazing Russian films this year. One of which is Why Don't You Just Die? If you don't know that film, just go look that up. It's not a horror film, but it's like a Tarantino film, like that took some crystal meth and then went from there. It's a great film, and the guy that directed that, this guy Kiri, we met him at a lot of festivals, and he was a fucking physicist, right? And he just told me the next thing he's shooting already. I can't talk about it, can't talk about it kind of stuff, but it's crazy bullshit nuts, like his next movie. Anyway, going back to Sputnik. Sputnik is totally something you should definitely rent. Rent or buy. But I'd say rent it. I mean, how many people want to keep around a Russian language film? I mean, you might, it's like, but how many friends then want to watch that? If you want to watch that, then keep it and buy it, right? But if you don't, then you don't know. Do the whole thing where you rent it. Totally worth your time. Next thing is Alien Addiction.
Man, tell me about this movie.
Yes, please.
Alien Addiction. Okay, this is like my one comedy movie on the list here. Comedy horror. I mean, it's not really horror so much. There's some people that die in it, to be honest, but like they're not horrible deaths. But we met this guy who's a director, Shay Sterling, who's a video director by trade, and does done a ton of. He's worked from everyone from like Sheila E. to Prince or whoever, let's say. And he's a New Zealander, and he got his chance to get some money together, and he wrote and directed and produced this entire film. And it just came out the beginning of the week, and it has been #1 in Australia and also New Zealand on their iTunes, and also it's cracked the Canada. It's like in the top 100 over there. But it just stars people that you have no idea about, and so but the guys that it stars, Jimmy Johnson is like huge YouTube. Like, I don't know, influencer, like he has like a kabillion people on TikTok or whatever. And for having no stars in it per se, this movie is like the biggest movie in those countries. And I'm telling you this, it seems like they're speaking English, but you have to listen to it a little closer because it doesn't seem like English. But my wife and I showed my wife it the other day because I wanted her to see it to understand it. And she's like, this is hilarious. And I was like, can you imagine if we were high? And she was like, this would have been the best movie in the world. So I would tell you this: just take a little edible, cat style.
Yes.
And go see this movie, and you'll have a fantastic time.
Dude, just based on the image I pulled for that, I was like, what the hell is this Alien Addiction? I gotta find out.
It's so good. It's so good. You'll love it. You'll love it. All right, so that's on VOD. Scare Package. All right. Now, this is a really great film. It's an anthology. It's the first anthology we've had on the list, I want to say, right? Aaron Kuntz and some other of his partners or whatever. Aaron Kuntz is a pretty prolific filmmaker right now. He just did The Pale Door. That just came on VOD. It's a witch western, if you will.
I've heard of The Pale Door.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so this is the same guy that him and his partner did this movie. But, I mean, the whole thing of it is it's an anthology, so people have sort of written, directed. He kind of, I guess, put the string together that connects everything. I don't know that he wrote and directed the whole thing, but it's really funny, actually.
Yeah.
That's the main thing of it. It's horribly funny. Each section is kind of funnier than the next. I don't want to give it all away necessarily because there's a connective tissue through it, if you will. I will say Joe Bob Briggs is in the film, and so he's obviously a god in our circles and so forth, and he's great. But the one you really want to look out for is called One Time in the Woods. All of them are funny, by the way. All of them are like you would just be totally satisfied with each section, let's say. But this thing is so gory and horribly funny and disgusting, also horribly funny, that you're like, you'll pay attention to it more so than you would other ones, right? So, okay, so that's all I got to say about that. All right, so getting to the end of it here, almost there. I mean, Matt, did we actually get through? I have 2 more left. Did we get to 31?
We have, let's see, you have 2. Wait,
2 left. I have 2 left.
2 more, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That gets us to 31?
I think that gets us to the 31. The full October set for this month.
All right, here we go. All right, Swallow. Now, Swallow, we saw at Fantasia, premiered, I believe, at Fantasia, is one of the most horribly uncomfortable movies I think I've ever seen. There's a certain condition when people, like, I don't know, eat dirt and eat just objects and things. Like,
I think it's pica, right?
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. This is a pica horror movie. Right? Like, and you'll watch it and you'll just be I remember sitting in the theater and just being like, no, no, like for me, and that's hard for me to get to because I'm usually like, yeah, whatever. Like I did gross. I was psycho bio major, undergrad, and half a master's in neurobio, and part of that was taking gross anatomy where I like cut up dead bodies and stuff. And I'm like, all right, we're cutting this dead body up, and like, and the body's on its this is an aside. It's on its front to begin with. Like, you don't see what it is, like, and you're just seeing the back of it, and we kind of lift up the head. We're like, that's an ugly looking man. We had this poor old lady that was like 90 something years old, and we didn't know it was a lady. We thought it was a man. That was the thing. And so you don't know what it is until you like turn it over and you're like, oh, that's vagina. Like, this is the worst. And like I was cutting, we'd be cutting stuff up in lab and be like, this is terrible. And then like you watch horror movies, it doesn't faze me. It doesn't faze me usually. This is how dated I am, right? And then fucking this woman eating a tack just like that fucks you up so bad, right?
Yeah.
So just so you know, this is gonna fuck you up a little bit when you watch this movie. It's a great film. It's a slow burn. It's a psychological weird thing going on when you watch this film. It's like one of the best of the year. Really, it is. I mean, you can't. There's nothing to compare it to be honest. Really, at least in my mind. So that's something you should definitely see when you get a chance. Again, I think VOD. I don't know where exactly that is right now, to be honest.
Yeah, I think just generally, VOD for that one.
All right. So any further thoughts on anything we talked about? Because I have the last one coming up, I guess, now, right? And I'm actually surprised we got to it this fast. I thought it was going to take like 3 hours. Like,
Me too.
Honestly, yeah.
I tried to move it along. I'll be honest.
You've been a real general through this, I think. Yeah.
And we appreciate that because this could have gone probably 5 hours.
I just thought I'd be so drunk by then. I'd be like, yeah, it's a spiral. You should.
I'm surprised I'm not completely wasted. I'll be honest.
I'm a little silly.
I'm a little silly too, but
you're not drinking Natty Light, are you still?
No, but I'm drinking heavy beer.
What are you drinking now?
Let's see. I had pumpkin, which is 8.6. I had Night Owl, which is 7.6, and now I'm on a 6.2 or a 6.4, something like that. So I've been drinking heavier beer than the normal 5%.
I'm on Spooky Tooth from Fatheads. I don't know if you guys get Fatheads on that end of the country. It's kind of a regional deal.
No, I never heard of it.
But this is our pumpkin ale. We're clocking in at a 9%, and I've had 2 over the course of the show, so I'm feeling a little wavy.
Well, I'll tell you what I drank tonight already. I drank 9% Fin du Monde. It's like one of these, let's say.
Caramba.
Yeah, and then I drank one of these that was 9%, I want to say.
Caramba.
Hold on here.
Putting us to shame, man.
I don't know that there's no shame involved if you're an alcoholic. Like,
well, I mean,
allegedly.
Allegedly is a good term.
All right. So it's not so bad actually as I thought. I'm not as much alcoholic as I thought. No, so I drank one of the Fin du Monde, and then I drank this one called Auditor that is the same size as that. And this is over since like 4 o'clock, right? So now it's almost gonna be 8 o'clock. So 4 hours period of time. So essentially those beers are like the big format beers are like 2.5, I want to say, maybe 2.5. I drank 2 of those and then one of these. So I've drank like 6 beers over 4 hours. It's not too bad. I mean, I think it's what you drink in a bar maybe, but long and short though is that I'm not that fucked up.
Yeah, honestly, me neither, and that's surprising.
I'm drinking some Statesman, so hey.
All right. You're like, I'm drinking whiskey. I'm drinking
47.5, 95 proof.
You
Yeah.
just opened that. Don't front.
Hey, listen. Can we all do a cheers real quick? Matt, can you come back in here? All right. Cheers. All right. Boom, boom, boom. All right.
And
So
Taylor, my glass is right here. Actually, I have not just opened it.
Amen, brother.
Amen.
all right, listen. There's no one's dick is bigger than anyone else's dick. Because Matt, I know, has a big dick. I can just tell. I just know he does. All right. All right. Let's the last one. Last one. It's called Spiral. Spiral. Okay. Here we go. This is on Shudder. Fucking the commercial for goddamn Shudder. If Get Out had sex with Rosemary's Baby, and then that baby was queer and a lovely gay baby, that would be what Spiral is. So without spoiling the movie too much, two gay dads raising a daughter come to a new small town that they're moving into. Of course, things are not what they seem, as with most horror movies. And it has a really super creepy atmosphere, I'll say that, and unfolds masterfully. And, you know, essentially, like, some of the character actors you see acting in there, like there's the dude from, what's that movie? Okay, this is a 90s movie or slash a 90s movie, I want to say. And it's about these guys that are, if you die, if your roommate dies, then you can get straight A's. Thomas Everett Scott starring. Who else? Oh,
Gary Cohen.
Zach from like goddamn Saved by the Bell, I want to say.
Oh, Zach Morris.
Mark Paul Gosler.
What's this fucking movie called though? I gotta look
Mark
this up.
Paul Gosler. That's
I haven't
Zach.
seen this one.
I'm pretty sure it's that guy, but like it's well, I gotta look it up now. So
Oh, he just disappeared. Oh no! He was so confused. He's not even in the lobby. He's gone. Oh no! I hope Alok comes back. Oh no! He got lost in the sauce. There he is. He's reemerging.
I looked at the. I was trying to look it up on your fucking. I shouldn't have done that. Okay. All right. Sorry. Here we go. Then I killed my roommate or something.
Man, I don't know this one.
Dead Man on Campus.
Yes, you got it right there.
Wait, which actor is this?
Mark Paul Gosler, the actor who played Zach on Saved by the Bell.
So the guy that's the crazy roommate who wants to sort of like, you know, kill himself, and they're like, oh, we should get that guy in to our, you know, our posse, so he'll definitely kill himself.
Oh, wait, you said character actor. Are you talking about Lachlan Monroe?
Lachlan Monroe.
I think that's the guy. So he is in this Spiral movie, right? And he's fantastic. Like he's come back again, and it's a great way. And like, oh, holy shit! And the movie's a great movie. I'm just saying. Like,
yeah, I started Spiral, and I ended up falling asleep because it was like 4 a.m. because at like midnight I'll sneak out of bed and I'll play some PS4, and then I'll go back to bed at like 4:30.
You're not even married yet. Why are you sneaking away from shit? Like, I mean, like, is she living with you, or what's going on?
Yeah, we have an apartment. We're engaged, and we are looking at getting an actual house. So,
well, nice for you.
Closer to us.
I will say this though, like, you're sneaking away to do these things already, are you? Okay.
Not really sneaking. She'll wake up as I'm getting out of bed, and I'll tell her I'm going to play PS4, and then I'll kiss her on the forehead, and she'll say "have fun," and then she'll go back to bed.
You should live for those moments as long as you can, my friend. Because what's gonna happen is this: you're gonna have a baby, and then all of you are gonna be like, "You get up, and get this nonsense taken care of."
Here's something: we're both.
Wait. No, sorry. Wait as long as you can, though. Wait as long as you can.
we are both very hesitant on the baby aspect.
Good.
So that is
how old are
very
you?
tough.
This is probably nothing that the podcast wants to hear. I'm sure you'll edit this out loud.
I'm 26. She is 21.
Oh my god.
She'll be 22
You guys
in
are
January.
babies.
I mean, I'll be 26 next month, and my girlfriend will be 21 in December.
Damn, all you guys like dating the young chickies. Like I love it. I love it. But
Taylor's like a year away from 30, so don't let him fool you.
I'm 27, man. I'm the grandpa of this show.
You're barely a year older than me.
Well, you know, the funny thing is, like, it's like this. Like, you guys live where you live, right? And for us, it's like the exact. Well, so I'll tell you this: add 10 years to your age, and that's when people start thinking about getting married. Versus where you guys are at, where it's like, we're gonna do it right now, like, and we're like, fuck that. But it doesn't even matter. Though. I'll tell you the truth. Like, I got married at 38 to my first wife. And like, no, well, I mean, nice Taiwanese girl, I thought, and she was fucking nuts, and you know, but it didn't matter how. I had these rules. I was like, oh well, you know what? I'll do this. I'll do a thing where I get with this girl, and I'm with her for 3 years. That's why I'll know all her crazy and stuff like that, right? And then we'll get engaged, and wait a year, and then get married. All my rules were bullshit. It didn't make a difference. Like, I still got divorced. But it was more because she actually was crazy. I mean, her mom tried to kill her and her sister when they were young and stuff like that. And she had manic depression, like shit in her genes and stuff like this. And so I was like, And then she started doing all the crazy stuff her mom did. And I was like, I don't know if this is a good idea. And, you know.
Here's the sappy part of this podcast. Met someone who accepted me and is just a beautiful human, and right away I just knew she was the one. So I was pretty much planning it from the moment we met, and we met on Tinder. Here's the thing: Tinder is not just for hookups. Sometimes you'll meet the one, and I did. And the moment we met, I just kind of knew it was the one. So almost 2 years later, you know, I just thought, enough waiting.
Well, I'm glad you waited 2 years though, because you never know. Like I'm saying,
Yeah.
But but what I'm trying to tell you before is this: it doesn't matter how much time you wait and how much stuff you do. It can always go to shit town no matter what. But you just got to make sure you are going to shit town with the right person. like we were like, we don't want to get a lawyers any of this money. Let's just be like not contentious about any of this. And we didn't have any kids or whatever. All we had was a dog, and there was a dog that she made me get. I wasn't even a dog person, frankly, and she made me get a dog. And this dog, I fucking love my dog. I have a German Shepherd. I've had her for 9 years now. Like, fucking, this is the best dog in the world. It's the best thing that ever happened to me in terms of, like, at least this marriage, getting me this dog, right? Like, so, but I will always be a dog person now. I will always get another German. I mean, there's Ripley. Poor Ripley. I don't want her to hear this. Like, she's doing really well. She's not even sick at all. But you know, anyway, I'm talking a lot of shit tonight, and we're cutting a lot of this off, right? This is not on the.
Oh, this is live, so this is.
I mean, it's live, so it is included.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, then terrible then. All right, well, I'm gonna go pee for a second. I'll come back.
You know, I'm not gonna lie. This is my favorite part about Alok coming on. I just got to be honest. Like, I love his rants on just being blunt as shit.
I love the perhaps revelation that he never knew this was a live show until right now.
I will say, shit. I do have to have Alok on really drunk. I hope I can pull that off at some point.
Oh, that would be.
I'm sure he has interesting topics to talk about.
Well, I remember,
no doubt.
I remember at WhatCon, to promote Chris, you were freaking talking to him about alien conspiracy theories on Twitter. So, like,
yeah. So, the first episode of Really Drunk, we can touch upon aliens, but let's keep it to a minimum.
Look, if you have a Alok on Really Drunk, I don't think it's even worth assigning a topic. Like, I feel like you guys just go.
Yeah,
just go. you just hit the road and you'll see where you end up, man. Like left turns only, we'll see where we end up, right? Like that's what it's gonna be. And I'll say as much when he gets back in, but like it's been fantastic having Alok on, man. It's always a pleasure. It's always a treat and a privilege.
Yes, it is.
It needs to be said. This whole segment, the 31 movies of October, comes completely from him. This was originally scheduled when we announced like the Antebellum episode. We're like, we'll talk Antebellum, we'll do news, we'll do Lovecraft. It's going to be a standard episode. He came to us with this idea, and he's been like integral
movies.
Yeah. No, he came up with this idea, and it was like he was integral in like coming up with the list and stuff. Like we were going over it through like Messenger today, and we were like resorting the lists. Like there he is. There's Ripley.
Yes.
Ripley the shepherd.
She's hanging out.
Anyway, what a glorious sound. Look, we were just saying, man. I was just giving you all this credit because, first of all, it's always a pleasure and a privilege to have you back on this show, man.
Well, I feel like I'm talking to friends. It's all good. You know, I don't feel like it's a weird thing. Like, I mean, I know that you guys are starting back. I mean, I know that you guys were all starting back up again when you first started doing this and this and that. I hope you guys are getting more like listenership and something. Well, we should talk about something offline. Actually, I want to tell you in terms of like giving you a good idea. I think for something that maybe you don't know yet, but
for sure.
Once you stop this recording, we'll talk about it. But,
Look, I do have a question for you because we all talked about the expression on your face. Did you realize we were live?
I mean, I kind of sort of thought we maybe sort of, but I don't think I was talking so much shit that I felt bad about it. But
you weren't talking too much.
The main thing is I didn't want to. The only thing I was hoping for is that I didn't talk shit about filmmakers that I shouldn't be talking shit about. That's the main thing, and I don't think I did that. I mean, I think I tried to cut it off when I was doing that to some extent, and because I'm very opinionated because I tested movies for a living, and so I'm always like, okay, this is what this is. This isn't.
No, your thoughts are very contained. You know, you just say whether you like the movie or not, and then you say what you like about it. You say what you don't like about it, and then that's it. You don't completely shit on a movie. Your thoughts are very unbiased.
Yes.
Well, I'm trying not to do that because it's hard to make a movie in general, right? Like, but sometimes you're just like, from an aesthetic point of view, like this is like we used to test movies. Okay, they rate it, and then you test it, and then you have an idea. And everyone's like, well, you cannot tell me that this movie is a shitty movie. And no, I can tell you this movie is a shitty movie. I can always tell you this movie is a shitty movie because of the score, right? And I know what the scores were, and I know that I'm so used to it that I can tell what an audience almost would score for, and I can actually tell you what I think of it based on those scores, right? Yeah. So, like, to tell people it's all subjective is kind of bullshit in a way, but, like, I don't want to, like, shit on independent films which need the money to continue going. And, like, listen, it's the first time that this guy made a movie, for example, one of the guys, let's say, right? And you're like, listen, I would like to see what that guy does next, right? Yeah. So that's another part of it too, right? Anyway, sorry.
No, you're fine.
It's like it's really with any filmmaker. Their first movie, you're like, okay, that was pretty good. There's some things I didn't like about it. I want to see what they do more, like what they do next, and then you really love their movie. For instance, Denis Villeneuve, which is possibly my favorite filmmaker next to Spike Jonze. He did Incendies, which I wasn't too high on. And then he did Enemy. And then he did Prisoners. And then he does like Arrival and Blade Runner and next Dune. Like that first movie, usually you're just like, I want to see what they do next. You're not too high on their first movie, and then they do something, and then do another one and another one, and they end up becoming your next favorite filmmaker. So, you know,
that's a great example. Here's the problem with that guy: like he has done nothing to hype himself because you don't know who that guy is still. Like most of America doesn't, unfortunately, from film to film. Like it's never a thing where it's like he didn't M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong himself. Like he should have, but he didn't. Sadly, he just. I mean, I feel bad that like he hasn't there's no more awareness for his brand.
He's very mysterious. You don't know who this guy is, but he's so good. Like Blade Runner is in my top 3 all-time favorite movies. Blade Runner 2049. He's a genius filmmaker.
Well, he's doing Dune too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I thought that trailer was fucking amazing.
Yeah, I have a hard on for Denis Villeneuve.
It almost made me cry.
Yeah, same.
Like, that's
I had a single tear roll down my face. But that's with any
Once
film
we are
that he does.
right?
I mean, like, Connor and I more so went to see Tenet because we knew we'd get some Dune footage.
Yeah, I will say this. When I saw Blade Runner 2049, I cried.
Sorry, where do you guys live again that your theaters are open? I'm trying to remember.
Ohio.
Cleveland, Ohio.
Cincinnati, right? Okay,
Cleveland.
Cleveland, Brunswick,
Home of the Cleveland Browns.
Akron. Akron, Canton area.
How are they doing this year? Shitty, I'm sure.
No, 2-1.
We're 2-1, baby. 2-1.
Yeah, Cleveland Browns, baby.
Cleveland's the only place you'd be proud of being 2-1.
Hey, we
have
have
LeBron James. He's in LA now, but he's still an Akron boy.
Getting your city championship.
Okay, whatever. Is Carson Palmer still your fucking like quarterback or whatever? Or is that
Baker Mayfield?
Is Carson still there or no?
No, that's Cincinnati, dude. He's been out of Cincinnati for years.
Sorry, I don't know what's that. I have no. I don't.
This show is going off the rails. We're reaching 3 hours.
I'm a Cowboys fan.
Hey, we get to whoop your. Hey, you get to see the Browns firsthand this week when we whoop that Cowboy ass. Just saying.
Whoop that Cowboy ass. What a promise.
All right.
Would you like to put some money on it?
Trying to get into.
Are you a betting man?
I'm a betting man. I won't put money on it, but I'll do so.
I'll give you $5. No points. $5. Cowboys win. That's it. It's a fairly even bet.
I'll take it, but we're Browns are winning. The Browns are winning.
All right, you guys are witnesses. $5. Cowboys versus no points.
And Lakers are sweeping the Miami Heat.
Yes.
I mean, are we really playing sports here now? Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't pay attention to any of the sports right now. It's all bullshit to me. It's like, I don't know. We cut the cord, and I'm trying to figure out how to get the sports again, just like in the ways I should get them. But
go to YouTube TV. It's a nice alternative. Granted, you don't have regional networks from Fox right now, but it's a good alternative.
How much you pay for it?
It's like $65 a month, and you get like 90 channels or something around there.
I'm paying $65 right now for all the movie channels I want to get. Like,
see, but you can bundle movie channels with it.
Now here's the thing, though. I literally just want to have USC for football, which we're not playing right now, and I doubt
you guys start. No, you. It's announced the Pac-12 starting in a couple weeks.
Yeah, but all the other there's been so many affection. Like Notre Dame is not playing for the next 2 weeks or something, and I'm going to tell you this, and also there's like football teams that are canceling now too, like the Titans versus whoever is supposed to play next week. I'm going to tell you, the whole thing's going to be shut down in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I would love it if it wasn't, because I need some entertainment in my life. But like,
yeah,
it's what it is. I could talk to you guys.
Well, look, I'm sure deep down,
we're like girls doing each other's hair right now. Amazing. And what horror movie do you like? Well, I love John Carpenter.
Well, look, man,
we have to go at some point, and I think I got like 10 more minutes if I can. Okay, that's all I can do. But
we do not have to. We don't have to set the record again tonight. We don't have to go 4+ hours.
We're not even close to the record right
now. No. We have at least another hour left if we want to do that. I don't even. Having you and Naomi Grossman set the record felt very appropriate and justified.
Last week it was an accident.
Us somehow beating it by an entire hour on our own is just really undeserved.
You guys set the record yourselves last weekend.
So what happened is there was only 2 pieces of movie news, but we still spent like half an hour talking about them.
It was absurd.
One of those news items was Scream.
Yes.
Anything Scream related, I could go on for hours.
Okay.
Evidently. Yeah.
So that's what happened.
All right.
And then we did a huge breakdown of Lovecraft.
And
And
you guys like the Lovecraft show or no?
Yes.
Love it.
Loving
This
it.
episode sucked, but
I've heard such mixed things about it. I watched the first show and I think the second show, and I was like, that's good. And then I was like, I don't care. I mean, it's a whole thing where I'm waiting to get HBO back because I wanted to the whole like Fed by Wolves or whatever to be sort
HBO
of.
Max, yeah, that's
yeah.
on my list to.
Raised by Wolves is fucking terrible.
Oh no!
I hear so many good things about it. You're the first person I've heard about.
I watched 2 episodes and I said that's enough.
Oh
Did you
no!
like did you like Westworld though?
I love Westworld.
Okay, because there's a lot of people that like don't like Westworld that are like also huge haters on that. So I just
No,
wanted
I
to,
love,
like,
love Westworld, and I just thought Raised by Wolves was boring.
Oh no! Ridley Scott's. I mean, he's always been kind of a weirdo, right? That's part
I
of his
was looking
genius.
forward. I was really looking forward to Raised by Wolves, and I thought it would be really cool to talk about on the show because I saw trailers with her just screaming and people blowing up, a bloody mess, and that's all in the first episode.
but you've only watched 2 episodes, right?
I'll give it more of a chance,
I feel
but
like you
those
should
2
give it-
episodes
I mean,
are
the
very
The
unimpressive.
season finale is up now, so there's
They already greenlit
10
the second
episodes.
season. They already greenlit the
Yep.
second season for it already, which makes me
Oh.
think maybe there's something to it.
Maybe
So,
I'll give it more of a chance.
yeah. I'm about to re-up my as long as it's all done that particular series. I'm about to re-up my HBO whatever it is. 'Cause
it
my-
is done.
my friend told me like, listen, cancel it after the first 2 or 3 months, and they're gonna come back at you and they want to get you for the whole year for like $10 a month. And I was like,
I will say The Vow on HBO Max, fantastic docuseries about Nexium.
Yeah.
That
Perry
is-
Mason. Perry Mason, great fucking show.
No, Taylor Nichols in a 1BR in also Perry Mason a lot apparently.
Oh
Fury, our cult leader, is
Mhm.
in it all the time.
no shit!
Yeah, he's on like 5 or 6 episodes.
Wait,
Yeah.
that's why he looked familiar when I was like, God.
Yep.
damn it.
He's just putting together the pieces.
Because I'm watching 1BR, I'm like, why does this guy look familiar? I'll figure it out.
We're hitting the 3-hour mark. What a fantastic episode. We've given you 31 movies to watch every day.
But I was going to tell you one thing more. Taylor Nichols, PEN15, which is on Hulu right now.
Oh really?
I've heard a lot about that show.
Probably one of the funniest shows I have seen on any of the streamers. And it's about these 2 girls being in like 7th grade or whatever, who are, normal age girls where they look like they're like in preschool or whatever. And the funniest shit ever. Taylor Nichols plays the dad in this show, by the way. Sorry. Now, Connor, you go on.
I was just saying we've had a fantastic show. Thank you, Alok, for coming back on. We've given you 31 movies to watch every day of this month. 31 new horror films that have coming out this year to watch every day this October. It's part of REELOWEEN.
Yes.
I'm sure we'll get a list of all 31 movies, put them up on our socials so you can
Great idea.
go through of them all.
Where they're streaming or where they're at.
Or
Yes,
or
exactly.
VOD or-
And you can do a thing where you just look up where they're cheapest for those people to go via VOD with them.
I
Usually,
mean, I saw Becky at Redbox, so if people want to watch Becky, go get it for $1.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh, wow, I
So
didn't know.
we'll put those up. I had a fantastic time going through all these movies with you. What a fantastic friend and friend in the show. You're always welcome. Revolving door on any show. So
Yeah.
Seriously.
thank you.
And look, no pressure, but if you want to come back to watch Veronica and/or Cats, you are absolutely welcome. No pressure at all. But if you would like to, if you're available to, we would love to have you on always.
Tough because they're also tempting, actually. And it's also, I mean, as far as the cats thing, super tempting. And then I don't know
Veronica?
well, that's great, but the gay vampire saga that you're
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
respect you for
I
That's
that.
an
don't know
all
if you're
day
gonna wanna-
thing, so you can come and leave as you please.
I mean, look at them, Alok. Look at them.
No, that's part of the reason I'm horribly attracted to the whole thing is that I just think it's so amazingly gay. And I just, and not that there's anything wrong with any of this, but I just love to I love to make fun of stuff that doesn't seem like it's gay to tell people that it's sort of gay. Like the vampire and the werewolf want to fuck each other, and the devil is just like the I don't know, the beard of sorts. Like, I mean, and she's holding them back from each other. If she let go, they would fuck each other immediately. Like, I mean, I would love to call that out right when it's happening. I'll be like, all right, here's what I've been talking about for years. You tell me what you think is the truth, and like then it's all happening in real time, right? So I don't know. I would love to come back for all of this. It just depends. When is the one in November? You're saying that one? It's,
That's no 21st.
21st is the gay vampires, and then the October 10th is cats.
So tempting.
Tomorrow is Veronica.
It's so tempting. Let me send me an email reminding me of this because I'm drunk tonight.
And I will reach out to you about Really Drunk because it's a random schedule. We can film it whenever. If you're feeling chatty one night, you've had a couple, and you have a topic you want to talk about. The whole idea is the guest comes up with the topic that they want to talk about, and I get increasingly more intoxicated and talk about that topic that I may know about or I may not know about, and I'll learn about it with the guest.
I thought that would be wonderful, but I feel like I need Matt and Taylor on to be increasingly drunk as well.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. We can have a 4%.
Yeah, I mean, listen, let me think about something because I always have these thoughts where I'm like, okay, why hasn't anyone talked about how racist cats is, or or whatever, whatever?
See, those are topics that I want on the show. I want things that I might not necessarily have thought about to be on the show, and I'm drunk and I'm like, holy shit, you're right.
Hey, as racist as cats is, they're not as racist as the president.
Racist as cat? What?
I said as racist as cats is, it's not as racist as our president.
Oh. No shit, Sherlock. What a cookie for this? Like, I
mean, yes, I do. Jenny, can you hand me one?
I mean, I wish I could. It's just depressing. That's something. This is a
portrait Taylor a little bit more. These cookies that Taylor cannot find that he loves those so dearly.
Oh, those are from the grocery store, right?
Pillsbury. Well, yeah.
They're like a soft cookie, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know those cookies. We've had those here too in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
your fancy cookies. But listen,
Taylor can't find them right now. That's why I'm messing with them.
Okay, got it. No, I'm gonna say this. We can have a very funny topic that we can kind of decide on beforehand, and then come on and then talk shit about for the dress drunk kind of conversation.
Yeah, we'll reach out to you on that and come up with something.
All right. It could be that way, but it also could be a thing where I'm like, okay, it's like 8 o'clock at night on the West Coast, and I just finished all these podcasts, and I'm slightly drunk or really drunk, and I'm gonna call you guys up like Batman or whatever, and I'm gonna be like, yo, bitches, we need to fucking talk about some shit right now.
Exactly. And that works because
my bat team of jackasses will be together. Right? What we're talking about here?
Yes.
No?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right. I think we understand each other. It's been amazing. So we'll figure it out. And I promise you, an impromptu, we're just too drunk to talk, whatever fucking your show is called, will happen at some point. How about that?
Absolutely.
Woo!
All right.
Signing off. Really scared. First episode of REELOWEEN was a success. We've given you 31 movies to watch. So check those out. Come back next week for Possessor, episode 8 of Lovecraft Country.
Tomorrow's Veronica.
At 8:30, starting at 8 p.m. We'll be going live for you guys to join in. Get your subscription, get it queued up. 8:30, we're pressing play, so join us then. Thank you for watching. It's been a crazy episode. Thank you, Alok. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Taylor. What a fun episode. Good night.
Good night.